Is this working? Let's see. Hold on. Boom. Hold on. There we go.
Boom. There's so much boom.
I think we did it.
All right.
Ears are endangered. Guys, say hello to Lefty. How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going? Chit Chat and Murph.
Going
I hope
good.
everyone's well.
Well, basically, let me just turn this down a little bit. Hold on. I'm doing well. I don't know if you saw that. That was kind of wild there. Kind of a intense few minutes there. Just get with the hype train and everything. That was kind of wild.
I came in right at the end of that.
Good. I was a wreck.
It's always weird when people are giving you money, you know, but it's also awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it kind of goes a little bit. Lefty is a bit echoey. So too quiet and a bit echoey. Let me think. If I did something wrong, you mind just talking one more time for me, Lefty?
Yeah. A little check.
Yo, what's up, Silver Thunder? How's it going? Thank you for the raid, man. Thank you. Hope the stream went well. We're just getting into an interview right now, real quick. I don't know. Double check my Maggie says double check your input on Discord. It's not echoing for me.
Yeah, I don't hear everything's fine for me.
Yeah, okay. Is it a pretty bad echo for you guys? What would I be doing? What would be screwed up here? Other than, oh, you know what it might be?
Hold on.
How about now? Double audio capturing?
Is that better? Oh, hold on. There we go. This should be better. It might have been on my end.
A little bit roomy. Okay, yeah, I think that's all it is. I think it's just a space thing. We're good. It's not too bad. That is better, Maggie says. Okay, cool. All right. So,
cool.
Ready to get into this thing. So, thank you for volunteering for part 2 of this.
Yeah, no worries.
You look great, by the way. Suit looks nice.
Hey, thanks. So do you.
Oh, no way.
Appreciate it. I brought some shades too. I didn't know if that was going to be a thing that I needed to do or not.
We could do that, and it might actually make me feel a little bit better. And let me explain to you why real quick. Is because when I did it with Forge, because, so far Forge is the only person I've done this with. I did it 2 weeks ago. And I found that when I went back and I watched myself, that when I had this on, I kind of felt like an ass. And maybe it works better when I'm doing the stream and I'm talking to people. Because to me, I don't want to always be looking over this way. That's why I wear them, because I look silly when I'm reading chat over here. But then when I was talking to somebody one-on-one, I was like, wow, I just kind of look like a douchebag wearing a pair of shades while having a conversation. You know what I mean?
So, I just thought it'd be funny to pop them on for a second.
Hey, we could, if you see me, because it's a habitual thing. If I just do this and you notice, you could throw yours on too. You don't have to. That's fine.
All right. That works for me.
So, Lefty.
What's up?
I got a beer here.
Drink it on first of all. All right.
Okay, so I got this. It's Bowen Island. It's a place out of Vancouver here. Nice little West Coast lager. It's fine. It's not gonna nothing to call home about really, but it does the job. It's better than getting like a PBR, and it's affordable. Beer these days is fucking crazy expensive. Triple.
Just drinking a little bit.
Triple Belgian style. Ooh, is it like a white?
No, it's like it's just a triple. I don't know how to describe it. It's strong though.
I got to avoid the strong ones.
Booze in it. Yeah. That's why I've only got 3 of them.
That's exactly it. Yeah, because I'll even get the 4.5s. You know what I mean? Just so I can drink more and be fine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I should do that more often. But I didn't hit the dab pen and I didn't go crazy on the beer because, sir, I'm a professional.
Exactly. Right? I'm glad that you said that because I feel the same way. I felt like I have to maintain my professionalism in this. Otherwise, what's the point? To some extent, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if I get high, you start asking me questions, I'm gonna be like, I don't fucking know, man. To be honest, you're kind of freaking me out, And we don't need that. That's not good conversation.
That's how I feel anytime I get high. Especially have this problem with going too deep on a subject. Whenever I get stoned, it's like say I'm trying to explain to you like an idea in a movie. And it's like a really simple concept. You could just be like, oh yeah, they use the colors to kind of try and tell a story, like a simple thing. And I'll be like, no man, like it's gonna be this. We're like the color red means love. And so when they show the color red in the scene, it means,
Oh
and I
shit.
just end up spiraling out of control if I get stoned and then start talking
I
to
can see
people.
that easily spiraling out of control. Like you could watch like some David Lynch movies and get in trouble. Just
Exactly. There's
spend all
just so
day trying to
much.
figure it out. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
no doubt.
So Lefty, I don't know how many people know this, but a lot of people know that I was raised in Tennessee, but you happened to
Right.
mention to me recently that you were
Born there.
born in Tennessee.
It was.
So
I
where
was
was this that
born
you were
on.
born?
Was born in Summertown, Tennessee,
Summertown.
and it's more of a I don't know if it's really a town rather than it's just like a settlement. Like it was a
Okay.
big hippie commune back in the 70s and into the 80s.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
the biggest in the world at one point in time, where they had like they didn't use currency and everything. Everything was bartered and
Like
traded
a
and
proper
like
commune.
yeah, like a legit ass
Whoa.
commune. But shit like that never lasts. So I think they started.
Not in America, it doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they kind of fell off that sometime in the mid to late 80s, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
just a full out fucking and the reason I was born there is because they were like big into midwifery, and so
Is
they
that
they
how you
train
say what it means to have a midwife? What
midwife. Yeah, that's the act of midwifing is midwifery.
midwifery?
Yeah, there's actually a book
Never
called
heard that.
Spiritual Midwifery, which is like the fucking Bible of midwives. And I guess I'm in that book as an infant, one of the
Are you
later
really?
editions. Yeah,
No way. That's
that's
like
what my
is that
mom told me.
a claim to fame kind of a thing?
I mean, it almost got me laid one time with a hippie girl, but I was in a relationship, so she was trying to
But
take me
she was
home though.
into it. Yeah.
She
She
was so stoked that I was born on the farm.
you were at the bar, she comes up with the book. She's like, "Is this you?"
No,
You look
she
so
was like,
sad.
she was talking to me about hippie stuff, and I was like, I was born on a hippie commune. She was like, where? I was like, the farm. She was like, you were born on the farm? Oh my god.
So wait, when you say the farm, is that what this place is known as in the
That's what they call
midwifery?
it. Yeah, the midwifery is just a thing they did there. But that's why so many kids were born there. Is because they would let you come have your kid there for free.
That's
Like
crazy.
you come live there for a little while, gives their midwife some fucking experience, more babies to deliver. I guess
That
I
is
don't really know.
wild. Okay, so I guess that kind of, in a way, I also had a midwife. I wasn't born in a hospital. I was born in a
All right.
bathtub. You know,
Yeah,
it's kind of
same here, bro.
that's interesting. I was in Washington State, though I wasn't in Tennessee. But it makes me think, though. I feel like I saw a video about this maybe last year at some point. There's still an active commune in Tennessee somewhere. Do you know if maybe it is the same one?
It is the farm. Yeah, it's
It
just not
is?
as
Okay, then
yeah.
I
They have
have seen that shit.
there's a documentary on Amazon Prime about it. I can't remember what it's called. If it's just called the farm or if it's called the commune or what. I can't remember
Right.
what it was called. But
Okay,
yeah, there
so
was.
that makes way more sense because yeah, I saw a Vice documentary about it then, I think.
All right.
And I don't remember
Yeah, that doesn't surprise
specifically
me.
what they were covering, but yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because I remember seeing it and thinking, Tennessee, kind of a weird place to have one of those. You'd think the Pacific
Yeah.
Northwest is a lot more common, those
You
type
would
of
think that maybe
commune
like an
attempts.
Oregon or
Yeah,
even
yeah.
a Montana.
So my dad was, I don't know if this was really related to why I was born in a top of a mountain in a cabin specifically, but my dad was a part of a commune-esque cult-esque thing. This is in Washington State. And
All right.
so I guess he had kind of started it with some other friends of his. It's still around. Can I say what it's called? I probably shouldn't. But like it's still around. It's still an active thing. I don't think it's quite as commune as it used to be, kind of like you said. It got cut off in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
mid to late 80s maybe. Because Ruby Ridge happened. You know what
Oh
Ruby Ridge
right, yeah.
was?
I'm
Yeah.
fully aware of what Ruby Ridge was.
Yeah. And so that
Yeah.
went down, and basically they kind of all looked at each other and were like, we gotta shut this shit down because they're
Or
coming
the
for us.
FBI starts fucking shooting our fucking wives and kids.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And then Waco happened a few years later. So I think in their eyes
Yeah.
it's kind of like a whew, dodged a bullet there, huh?
We ain't trying to, and then we don't want any of that smoke. We don't
Yeah.
want that federal smoke. Yeah, that's there was a lot of there. I think there was a lot more communes and hippie shit. Like I was involved in a lot of. I don't know if you know what the Rainbow Gathering is, but like that was something I got taken to as a kid
It sounds
a lot,
familiar,
which
but
is
not offhand.
it's not really a place a kid should be at.
Is it like an
But me,
orgy?
it's like I don't know. It's just like a big hippie. I mean, it's like a less intense Burning Man, I guess maybe,
Okay, like
or
a
something like that.
right. Okay, so
Like
there
it's
could be an
usually
orgy
in the
going
hill. It's
on,
in the
but
mountains. It's in the mountains
right,
of I think it changes. I think its location changes, but because they get thrown out of places and not allowed back because
right,
they
right.
don't take care of the fucking spot that they camped in.
It's weird that that's a tendency of the modern hippie, right?
Right.
It's
Right.
a little antithetical.
Isn't that bizarre? Yeah.
Okay,
So
so I was gonna ask you something real quick too,
go.
because at this point, this is I'm fucking brand new to this shit. I don't know how to talk to people like this. You know what I mean?
All right.
So I'm
You're doing fine.
trying to find some common ground here. You know, we're gonna lay the
All right.
groundwork a little, and so I was curious. The name Lefty then, is it handedness?
Mm-hmm. No, actually,
No.
well, sort of, because I swing a bat like a baseball bat, lefty, and I swing a
Okay.
golf club lefty. Like my golf clubs are left-handed sets, but I write with my right. You
Okay.
know,
Yep.
so the lefty is a shortened from my original gamer tag. My secret internet code name back in the day was Left for Dead.
Of course. Okay.
Which
Okay.
I did not steal from the video game. I stole fair and square from a straight edge hardcore band out of Boston because I had that name before the video game. I stole it from a band. So that was my name for a while in World of Warcraft. No one ever called me anything other than Left for Dead. And then all of a sudden, my first day in a raiding guild, like in Ventrilo, someone was like, "Who's fucking Left for Dead?" They were like, "That's Lefty," and then everyone started laughing, and just no one ever called me anything but Lefty.
And
ever.
it just stuck after that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like even my even my internet friends that I meet IRL call me Lefty. They don't call me Eli.
So it is Eli. See, I was gonna say this is a weird thing too, because I know some people really care about their anonymity online a lot more. It's weird to have to ask people. Ask people their name.
Donate,
you know,
just donate to their PayPal, and you can see their full.
Then you'll
name.
find out. Yeah. That is true. That is true. Mine's a lie though. I think I have mine. I think mine's bullshit. Because I realized that happened, so I went to my PayPal account and changed it. I think.
Gotcha.
Is that true? I think I did.
I don't really care too much. I spent some money removing my information off the internet. Like one of those like.
Did you?
Yeah, because it was just too easy. It was too easy. You could literally just search my name, and the addresses were old addresses.
Do you have a unique last name or something?
Yeah, I mean it's a Hispanic last name, which I don't look like I should have. So I have a Jewish first name and a Hispanic last name. So
Eli is a good name though. I don't know if you hear that often, but I've always liked that name. And then my sister named my nephew Eli as well. So I have a bit of an affinity. It is a good name. I agree.
I like it.
Okay, so Lefty, another thing. I mean, I'm left-handed. That's why I was hoping to be like, yeah, of course. Of course, definitely left-handedness. Yeah. Okay, well, I was going to say too, I had learned long time ago when I first started streaming, this would have been, I want to Google it. I should have before stream. I think it was 2018.
Googling is cheating.
I think all right, then I'll do memory. I think it was August of 2018. I think so.
All right.
Was when The Long Dark was released on PlayStation.
Okay.
And I had The Long Dark. I think I got it in 2014. For anybody who doesn't know what The Long Dark is, it's like a really serious survival game. Very realistic.
Like the best survival game.
It's top 3. It's top 3. It's all about like cold weather. It's all about, wolves. It's not about zombies. You just got to eat food, walk around. You got to explore.
No
it's great.
PvP. No.
It's about being isolated, and you really kind of getting ahead of the character that you play. It's a spectacular game. And I had a laptop in 2014 that could barely run it. It was running at like 20 frames. You know what I mean? Wasn't running worth a shit. But I played 300 plus hours in that bitch. I love that game because it could run on my computer. And so I just went ham on that game. I love survival games. And so I think it would have been August 2018 was when they released it on PlayStation 4. Well, I had a PS4 and I was like, dude, I thought in my head that this game was going to be the next big thing. I don't know why the fuck I thought that. Looking back on it, it's a very niche game.
Yeah, it does really well though from time to time when it goes on sale. Like The Long Dark's one of those games that people will be like, "Oh, I love that game," and it's like, "Yeah, why don't you play it then?"
Yeah. It's also been around so long and was kind of a part of that survival boom there, like around the mid 2010s. That I think a lot of people just kind of backhandedly recognize it, even if they've never really played it, or they've heard praise about it or something.
That's the one. That's the game that I started streaming serious on. Right, that's what I made affiliate on. So
that's what I was gonna say. That was the first game I streamed when I got my when I got it on PS4. I was like, this is gonna be the game. I'm gonna be a celebrity playing this bitch. But it sounds like you actually had some actual success with it, right?
I mean, well, like I think I got up to the area of like 40 viewers or something by the time I was usually getting ready to end stream.
Yeah.
And that was after like maybe 3 months or 4 months of streaming it. Because when I first started, no one was watching it. Like there was like I had a fake account that I would put on my iPad in the bedroom just so I had one viewer. And I felt even though I knew it was a lie, like I felt less self-conscious talking to nobody.
I know the feeling. Yeah.
So that's how it started. And I don't know. I don't really think the developer and I see eye to eye, and it's their game, but I just didn't want to be attached to their game. I didn't want to like make it my thing.
Yeah.
I just didn't.
You didn't want to be a long dark guy.
Yeah, I didn't really see. Well, I think the game developer Raph is kind of an arrogant prick, and that's me.
That's what I've heard. I've heard people in the subreddit mention that shit.
Yeah, he's a pretty arrogant prick. He's someone that I stopped following on Twitter a while ago because of. But I've roasted him on his Twitter before, and I've definitely roasted the company's decisions live on stream before.
I can see that.
I think that like there's not a lot of love for old LeftyROFL, I don't think, in that studio, but they've probably forgotten all about me in a while.
I think that storyline really flubbed the game for me. I think I had a really high arc of like, this game rules, I'm getting really good. I can survive like 200 days on Interloper. I know what I'm doing. And then like, I was so excited for the storyline when it came out. It was just kind of a bit of a disappointment to me. Yeah.
Didn't see, it wasn't that good, was it?
No, it really wasn't. And then I've never gone back. Yeah, I never gone back. I only did the first 2. I don't even know if I finished them. And then they've made 4 now or something. I never went back to it.
Yeah.
So then what did you do? What did you do from the time that you kind of put the long dark down until you got to Geo? What did you do in that kind of?
I played all kinds of stuff. I streamed mostly PUBG, but I would stream Truck Simulator. I would stream Frostpunk, which I want to stream again.
Frostpunk, that's an RTS game, right?
Yeah, where you it's like post-apocalyptic. And let's see what else. I mean, mostly PUBG, and then like we would also just, you know how Strudel like just watches YouTube videos and reacts to them.
Yeah.
We would do that for like 5 hours sometimes. Just like 8 videos, watch tattoo videos, and watch just a bunch of different shit, you know, and just have laughs and watch music videos like hate my stick stuff and all that shit. So it was like a combination of that. That's how we got into Geo also was, you know, I think we were playing Sporical quizzes and someone was like, you should try GeoGuessr out. So fucking, you know, it was like, okay, I'll try that out.
So what were you playing when you got partnered? What was it that was it PUBG?
That was definitely, no, when I got partnered, it was definitely GeoGuessr. I made a conscientious. I think you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I made a decision to, after about 6 months of streaming GeoGuessr like at the end of stream. You know, I was like one of those streamers, you know, that like fucking plays GeoGuessr at the end of the stream and then raids out to a GeoGuessr streamer.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's
But they
kind of
don't
the
really
least
play it too
important.
much.
It's how you land the plane of the stream, so to
Exactly.
speak.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So that's kind of what I was doing, and I was having fun with it. But I was like, I can't. You know, I remember. You know, I've told this story a bunch of times on stream, but I remember Eve Bonnet made Partner, and I was like, holy shit, she's only been streaming for like 2-3 months. She's already made Partner on GeoGuessr. Like there is potential there, and
Yeah,
I was like, I don't want to play GeoGuessr all day for 5 to 6 hours a day. You know, I just didn't seem like fun to me to do it that long. It wasn't until ChatGuessr came out.
Okay, so
And I
this would have
was like,
been, are you
yo,
talking like 2019, 2020 that you're talking about here?
this is 20, the end of 2020, the beginning of 2021, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
it was literally like right at the beginning of the year. I remember talking to some friends and being like, I think I'm going to push for Partner on GeoGuessr, on that ChatGuessr mod. And everyone was like, you're going to have to start listening to DMCA safe music. I was like, yeah, that sucks. But whatever.
No way. Is that what you ended up doing? You just did DMCA music?
I listened to drum and bass because there was like two big labels, one called Hospital Records, one called Shogun Records, that were on record saying that they would not pursue any DMCA stuff for using their shit. So, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to use your stuff because this is better than, you know, I don't want to name anybody by names, but that one dude on Twitch that is famous for making DMCA music.
Ari or something like that?
I was thinking of Harris Heller.
Okay. So what was I going to say is, when I, what Harris Heller. Yeah. Okay. When I started streaming, you know who Aesop Rock is? Yeah. So I wasn't like a big Aesop Rock fan. My roommate was, but at the time, the guy who made all the beats for his first 2 or 3 albums, Blockhead, that guy. So so fucking stupid in retrospect. But when I started streaming, I thought I need something it's not going to get me in trouble. Like I need to be able to play music that I'm not going to get in trouble for. Fortunately, these days we can just change the channels, right? You know, so that works out way fucking better.
Figured that out.
Me too. It's about a month ago. And so I messaged Blockhead on Instagram, and I was like, hey, man, I'm starting to stream. Yeah, I was like, is it okay if I use your music? And he was like, I don't give a shit. But, like, that's not how the DMCA fucking, it's an AI. It's not some dudes going to my channel being like, hey, is this guy all right with you using his music? That's not how that shit works.
Yeah.
I wish Blockhead had told me right then and there, like, no, man, this is not going to work out for you. Don't bother, you know? But that was originally my plan, was to have just Blockhead 30 hours a week while I was streaming. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but
I did it with just, you know, select stuff off drum and bass, and I actually kind of have I wouldn't say an affinity for drum and bass, but I have an appreciation for drum and bass. But it can't be that like that fucking 3-head fucking heavy shit. Like yeah, kind of not super into that shit, but like you know, I like a lot of it. I do like a lot of it.
Yeah, it's never really been a thing I super love. Maybe this past year or so, I think I've gotten a little bit more into that type of stuff. But I think I still prefer house and stuff like that instead. But I can dig drum and bass in a way I didn't used to as much.
Yeah. Well, that was 100% ChatGuessr that got me partnered though. Like that was just the right place at the right time.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah. And so you said this would have been early 2021. So you were streaming Geo
partner
all throughout 2020?
Middle of March. Yeah. I wouldn't say all throughout. I mean, like I was definitely streaming it like towards like maybe springtime.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, and like just ending streams with it. You know, sometimes we'd go for a couple hours, but it was, you know, I was doing silly shit. Like, I don't know how anyone would watch it. Like, I would just fucking do moving, panning, and zooming, and we would just go on road trips until we found where the fuck we were.
Yeah. Those are the old days, though. It wasn't quite as meticulous and that's the word I'm looking for, just like calculated and structured as it is now. Yeah. If you want to learn some shit now, you got websites, you have a million different documents, you got 300 pages about Mongolia you can look up. It didn't really used to be like that. You know, it was a lot more. It was a lot more fun, a little more freewheeling than it is right now. You know,
it certainly was. And I think that's what I liked about it. But I also like no move, no pan, no zoom.
Yeah, definitely my preference at this point. And I always tell people in my stream that it's mostly just because I'm lazy. I don't want to
Yeah.
feel obligated to spin around for you guys and then somebody go, hey, did you zoom in on that sign? I zoom in and they're like, can you read it? No, I can't read it. I'm not going to.
Yeah,
I don't want to
I
answer
agree.
this 100 times, you know. I don't
A
mind the
lot of
occasional,
the
but
same feelings.
yeah, yeah. So, Lefty, I was going to ask you too. You had a, I don't know how this came up. I think it was just a week or two ago when I was watching you. You had mentioned that you only ever use Celsius. Why is that you only ever use Celsius?
I wouldn't say I'd only use it, but I use it a lot because of how many how the split is between NA and EU for me. The times I stream are heavy like EU times, so like I just found
Right.
whenever I would talk about temperature, people would be like, I don't know what that is.
So
So
did
I
you already
just
just
started.
know it, or did you take time to figure it out, or
I wouldn't say I know it. Like I know roughly,
can
the
guesstimate?
conversions. Yeah, but
Yeah.
not like, if someone says it's like 30, I'm like, oh shit, all right, it's pretty warm where you're at.
Yeah. So I grew up, this is what my mom told me. And this is still, I think I talked to Dr. Poison once, a buddy of mine, and he told me it's not quite right, but it's close enough where it counts. There's a more specific equation you can do if you want to nerd out about it. But when I was like 12, 13, I was living in Tennessee, but my mom was like dragging me to Canada all the time. So I was back and forth, and she wanted to move back up here and everything. And so I think one day I was just like, Mom, I don't get it. I don't understand. Like how, and so she just gave me the most simple way. Just look at Celsius, multiply it times 2 and add 30. And that's going to give you like a pretty solid approximation. And so ever since then,
Mm.
now that I've lived here for so long, it's not really a thing I have to do that much. But if somebody in chat is like, oh, it's 15, what is that in Fahrenheit? You can be like, it's like basically 60. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That type of thing. Right. So I found that always works pretty well, at
pretty well.
least.
All right,
Yeah.
tight.
Do you use kilometers then too when you're talking to?
I mean, the kilometers is the weird thing. You would think I would because the military uses that, but I never. No, I'm more of a miles. I'm more like a miles and meters guy for some reason.
Miles and meters. How many
Yeah.
how many meters are in a mile?
Oh fuck, I don't know. What's the like 1600?
1,200?
1600 meters?
What did
I
he
think
say?
it's 1600, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Something like that.
So that's something I didn't know about you then. So you were in the military. I don't
Yeah,
think I knew
yeah.
that.
Reserves, Army
Yeah.
reserves for like 6 years.
Okay. And so then did you I don't even know how to speak about this. Is this did you go to into the battlefield is what I should say.
No,
No.
no.
Yeah,
I
okay.
was part of a engineering unit that did not deploy while I was part of it, but I did a fake deployment, which sucked. And they literally just like they fake deploy you to like there's a whole base. There's two of them actually in California. There's Irvine or no Irvine. There's Hunter Liggett, and then there's Fort whatever the fuck. I
You
don't
have to do
remember.
a,
It's not
a
important.
simulation?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Did they have like fake terrorists or something that
Yes.
really?
They have fake villagers that will come over and harass your vehicle and try to take MREs out of the back of it, and like it's very immersive. Like they take that shit super serious, like to the point that they bring people over. There's people from Iraq who are just U.S. citizens
Really?
now
That are
whose
that are
job is to do this.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Could you
yeah,
imagine being an Iraqi and getting offered that gig? Like, yeah, I'll go.
yeah. It's like,
I'll
all
go to
right,
California. That
fucking,
sounds like a good time. Just act
it's
like
no
I'm
problem.
doing what I normally do. That sounds great.
Yeah,
Just act like being like an Iraqi. That sounds good.
yeah. So they have the full thing set up. You're kind of like locked out, and
Yeah.
you don't really have. There was like one hill in the middle of the fob, the base, where you could try to get cell signal at sometimes, but it was pretty middle of nowhere, and
Right.
we had like I was part of the maintenance unit, and our platoon sergeant
And
was
what year
fucking
was this?
dialed in. This would have been the year that I went out there. I mean, I was in there from 2010 to 2016,
Okay. Okay. Right. Okay.
2017.
So what does that mean? So what do you do then for like work? How do you live then when you're
So I
doing
was just a
that?
maintenance. I was a mechanic, basically a wheeled vehicle mechanic. So I was just a glorified part swapper and shit like that. Then I
Right,
went and
okay.
took another course to become skilled in another skill identifier, which was vehicle recovery, which was my favorite shit to do. That's like tipping, retrieving vehicles with, winching cables and stuff that's, marred in the mud or has been blown up by an IED and needs to get back, so you have to learn how to cut.
Is that a part of the simulation? They blow vehicles up with IEDs and you got to drag them out?
Well, they don't blow it up per se. They do blow it up, right? But they don't do it they don't do a new one every time.
Right. Okay. They just have a destroyed vehicle that they placed on.
They have several destroyed vehicles.
When you're doing these, how long does this last? Are you out there for a day, or is this a week or a month? Or?
I was out for a month on the fake deployment. Yeah, just a little under a month. It was hot as fuck.
That is bizarre.
It was not fun.
So wait, everybody, it's like a Truman Show thing? Like everybody is just kind of in on the bit and you just got to take it seriously?
Yeah. It's just, there's an operation force. There's like a team that whole job is to fuck with you in the middle of the night or during the day. Like they have vehicles, man. They have the level
air raid sirens, that type of shit.
No, yeah, shit like that. And then like we're all wearing what they call Miles equipment, which is like really fancy laser tag shit.
Right. Okay. So then is that what you got to do when you do fake combat?
Well,
fancy laser
my
tag?
my job per se wasn't, to shoot at people as much as it was to recover vehicles. But
right. Okay.
So we were just kind of, the times that we were getting shot at, we were just kind of dodging, hiding behind shit.
What is your overall experience then? Like, how do you look back on it? Yeah,
it was a good time. I never, had to shoot at anyone. Never got shot at. Never lost anyone close to me or anything. So
right.
I got yelled at a few times.
So are you still? How do you say this? Like, are you like pro military in a weird way? Is that the way to put that necessarily?
I'm not pro military. I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm pretty fucking liberal. But I'm pro giving it a chance if you're into it. The problem is the military can be a great thing for you, but it can also be a terrible thing. It all depends on your leadership, and it's not like they sign you up, like, oh, you get the good leadership, so you go stand in that line. It's just the luck of the draw on the leadership you get, So if you get shitty leadership, you're not going to have a good time.
You're going to have a bad time. Yeah, that makes sense.
You're going to have a bad time. So, and there's also a lot of fucking knuckleheads in the military. So, and I
just like a cultural thing.
Yeah, just like low IQ, double digit IQ.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Activities, a lot of Kid Rock fans. Okay,
yeah, I get you. I had some friends who worked in the oil fields in Alberta. I feel like, and they would come back. They'd be gone for 2 months. They'd come back for 3 weeks or whatever. And sometimes it was a roommate of mine, and he lived across the hall. He eventually moved in with me, this guy, and he'd be like, hey, I got, like, my buddy from camp is going to come. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, let him come. And they're always the biggest doofuses. They're always the biggest, like, not only are they like woefully addicted to cocaine, but they're just like brain dead kind of fellas. I mean, really nice, fun, good time. Yeah, exactly. Good, like very redneckish in that way, very careless. So
we have a lot of oil and gas in this area too, so
you got a fair bit of, there's some of that camp mentality going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Are you right in if you don't want to dock stuff, are you right in Denver?
No, I'm in Fort Collins. So I live it's about an hour north of Denver.
Okay.
And it's where the University of Colorado, or Colorado State University, I should say, is at. So Duck lives in Boulder, which is like about 45 minutes to the southwest of me.
Right. Okay.
And Denver's about an hour to the south of me.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I'm about like 25 minutes from the Wyoming state line.
So between what was it called? Summertown? Between the farm and Fort Collins, you had mentioned, did you say you traveled you would lived kind of all around the world? Did I get that right?
I lived I lived in Australia as a kid for almost a year.
Outside the US, I should say. Other places. Yeah.
It wasn't like we weren't like island hopping on a sailboat or something. Like we were definitely definitely in that area. But I moved around a lot. My mom was never really happy with any place for too long, so fucking gather everybody up and fucking move again. So moved out,
So
Florida, Tennessee, North Carolina, Idaho, Colorado. I haven't moved since, since I was a kid. When I moved here, I was 16 when I moved to Colorado with my mom. So
just stayed
I've just
there.
kind of been here ever since. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have that
It's not a bad
feeling?
spot.
Do you have that feeling where you kind of, whether it was 16, 18, 20, whatever, you kind of felt like, okay, now I can just be, I don't have to
Yeah,
fucking
it's like it's
go
my
anymore.
control. It's my eye control. Fucking, it's
Yeah.
me now. I
I'm
control
pretty
if
cool
I
with this
move or
place.
not.
I'm okay with hanging
Yeah.
out here. I like this. This
Yeah,
is fine with me.
exactly.
I'm in no rush. Yeah. I had a
Yeah.
similar thing because I was in Tennessee and then, I would bounce back and forth between BC and Nashville a lot. And so I was doing a
Yeah.
lot of that. And then finally, when I turned 21 and I was in Tennessee, I moved back to BC and I was like, that's fucking it, man. Like I'm done. And then I was just, you got to find a few apartments. Eventually, after 3, 4 apartments, I finally found the one I like. Here, I've been here 8 years. I'm happy with this. I'm all right with
Yeah.
this. You know what? I don't need to just move. There was so much turbulence in those years,
Yeah.
that it's nice to just finally go. Give me a beer or something, man. I just need to chill.
That's what's up.
Yep.
There's only one place I'd rather live inside the U.S., and that, if money wasn't an object, would be the Boston area. But
Really? Why is that?
money is an object. So
Is there
I
any?
just love that.
Yeah.
I love that city so much.
Do you
I'd
have
love to
like
live
a?
there.
Do you have a link to it or something? A friend
Never
or a?
been. No,
Never
just kidding.
been.
To be fair though, I've been several times now, but I've had an affiliate. What's the word I'm looking for?
An
Not
affinity.
affiliation, affinity
Yeah.
for that city. Just because being a big fan of history and punk rock, especially at that point in time. Like when I was in high school, I was listening to a lot of early Dropkick Murphys and like the Ducky Boys, Murphy's Law, like shit like that. There was a lot of
That was my dad's
work.
band, the Murphy's Law.
Yeah. There's a lot of working class punk rock that I listened to that came up out of that area. So I've always, had kind of a love for it. My tattoo artist was from Boston, and he kind of got me into the Red Sox. So that's how I kind of got into the baseball team from the city. But
right. And so you just wave that flag even though you're in Colorado?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I was raised all over the place, so it's not like I was raised in like, Brooklyn and I'm like, I fucking love the Sox.
Right. Okay.
They're like, why aren't you a Yankees fan? I just love the Sox. So I was never raised in a major sports market. I was always, and my mom, believe it or not, was not a big sports person.
I just can't believe that. That's crazy.
Yeah, she was not. She was not like, all right, this household is a Red Sox household. All right, there was nothing like that.
It's funny you say that. I feel like, but I'm the youngest in my family by a long time, and there would have been no sports in that entire 15, 20 years that my siblings were born to me. And then we moved to Nashville from Washington State. And immediately my mom was like, the Tennessee Titans, baby, whoo! And still just like loved it, just out of nowhere. It was like, why are you such a big fan? I don't know where this came from. Do you even know how football works?
It's like when teams become like brand new. Like I remember when the Colorado Rockies, the baseball team, like first just came out, and everyone was like, "Let's fucking go, Rockies!" It's like, how are you? They haven't even played a game yet. How are you such a big fan?
They got all the free agents, man. They didn't have a lot of money to make this team.
Yeah. So there's definitely some interesting things like that, but. No, I love Fort Collins. I mean, it's a good city. I mean, it's got its problems. It's not very diverse, but you can get good Mexican food here, and that is crucial.
I must have driven through there last year then, because I went started off in Albuquerque and I went north from there, and I went all the way up through Yellowstone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What is it? So it came up through Cheyenne, I think, and then into Laramie, and then kind of up that way. Yeah, okay. So I must have passed through.
You would have passed. You passed well.
Not a very memorable town, I suppose.
The interstate does not go through the city. It goes to the east of it. So yeah. You wouldn't notice much.
That was the only time. Dr. Poison had his wedding in Denver. He's a real life friend of mine. We know each other a long time. So
oh, nice.
But yeah, that was the only time I'd ever been there. We went and hit up Red Rocks, of course. Had to do that while I was there. That was a nice gig.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Who'd you
you.
go see?
Well, went and saw
Always a
Chromeo.
I don't know who Chromeo is.
It's fine. It's kind of like
It's fine.
hypersexualized electronic funk music. Very funky. Do you know
Okay.
what do you know what Wolfpack is? You know Wolfpack at all? It's just very funky, very bass heavy. It's a fun time, but it's not really something I super love. Yeah, Diff's a big fan. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. There were some lead up acts to it. There was 4 acts that night, and a couple of them were fucking awesome. That was like when I felt like I really got the experience. Chromeo was good, and if you're gonna be there, you should party. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was sitting there like, I don't know about this stuff. It was fine.
I feel you.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't love it exactly, but but I had to do it while I was there. Basically, got to go see Red Rock. So, do you have a favorite show you've ever seen there?
I mean, I've only been to Red Rocks 4 times,
Well,
believe
it
it or
still
not,
sounds like a pretty nice amount.
and I haven't been there since 2009. Um, but
Are
I've
you
seen.
protesting?
I don't. I look. Going to Red Rocks is
Oh
a fucking
shit.
adventure. All right. Like, it's first of all, it's an hour and a half from my house.
Okay, yeah.
And then you have to deal with all the parking, the nightmare of getting out of that place. $20 beers, fucking.
That's fair. The
I mean,
stairs.
the stairs, a lot of climbing. I've seen Top Heady and the Heartbreakers twice there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I've seen
Nice.
Death Cab for Cutie there, which was the last show I went to in 2009. And
Okay.
then I also saw a festival, which was it was called the Unlimited Sunshine Tour. And it was the Flaming Lips, Cake, Modest
Ooh.
Mouse.
Whoa.
And it was early Modest Mouse, like 2003 Modest Mouse.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
That's a good era of
earlier.
Flaming
Yeah.
Lips and Cake and Modest Mouse. That's
And
a good
then
time for all those.
and then De La Soul.
And what? That's a kind of a weird.
Yeah, De La Soul was there too.
Who opened that?
I think it was Modest Mouse opened it.
Really?
And then it was De La Soul.
That would have
then it
been
was Cake. Then it was Flaming Lips.
if you say 2003, that would have been the year Modest Mouse really started to soar. They
That
already had
was
some success, but
it was where Everywhere and his nasty parlor tricks had come out.
was
So
it was it
that was
2004 for Good News?
Yeah, 2004 for Good
Oh,
News.
okay, so it'd been just
Yeah,
before. Okay.
So they weren't huge yet, and they only played the new shit. They played a few songs off of The Moon in Antarctica.
Everywhere in Nasty Parlor Tricks is my favorite EP. It is. It's one of the best ones.
I'm not super familiar with that album.
Go back.
I should listen to it more.
Oh, it's amazing. I think it's definitely one of the best. There's a lot more, I guess you could say, experimentation in what Isaac was doing then. I think is kind of the Moon in Antarctica. It's a quite a leap from Lonesome Crowd of West to Moon in Antarctica. And Moon in Antarctica had a lot more studio experimentation and stuff like that, a lot more messing with the headphones type of trickery. I feel like Everywhere in his Nasty Parlor Tricks really cranked that up to 11. So it's a lot more, it's just a lot more, I don't know, so much more interesting, I think, than most of the other stuff out of that area. Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. I really like that track, The Rat. Yeah.
All right. I think I remember that one.
Yeah. It's got a really good tempo change in the middle. No, it sounds really sick though. It sounds like a great performance.
Yeah, it was a rad play. I mean, but you need to go to Red Rocks at least once, right? And see, because it is a cool place to see a show, but it's also got to be the right kind of show. You don't want to go see like a fucking hardcore show. Not that there's a lot of it getting played there anyway.
You need something. I feel like it's such an open space with the acoustics the way it is. You have to have, I mean, it's my bias anyways, but something as spacious and psychedelic, I think, would work so much more in that atmosphere.
Well,
something like the Flaming Lips.
I could see like Bright Eyes working well. Like I would go see Bright Eyes at Red Rocks or something like that. But every year, you see the Red Rocks release and all the bands playing. You're like, man, that would be cool. But then you also got to look at it. It's like $150 for a ticket. You're going to spend a ton drinking. And it's just like, I get buyer's remorse with, I don't know if anyone else does this with concerts a lot of times where I'll like spend a bunch of money on a concert, and then I'll be like, man, I don't fucking feel like dealing with all this shit. I gotta fucking do this,
Gotta
and
get
that,
out
and
there. Gotta,
yeah, and then like once I get there, get a couple beers in me, I'm fine. But there's like a part of me that's like very much a homebody where I feel like not wanting to go out to the show that I've fucking paid money to go see.
There's also got to be a part of it too where it's so convenient. I mean, an hour and a half short's a drive. It's a bit of a bitch, but it's so convenient. It's in essence, it's in your backyard. So there's a thing where you kind of think, well, you know, I could always hit up next year or whatever. You don't, you know, if it's just over there, it's not a big deal, you know?
Yeah. And I definitely prefer like not leaving my city for shows if I can. Like that's what I'm all about.
I'd imagine too, you're probably gonna get a lot more hardcore punk rock shows in a smaller, more locale venues.
We got a couple venues that are decent. And like I saw Godspeed You Black Emperor in town here.
Yeah.
At one of the newer venues.
Great show.
Definitely some. Oh, it was fucking
explosive.
Other than the fact that they didn't fucking play anything off of F sharp, A sharp, Infinity, it was amazing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I feel like that'd be a very booming wall of sound. I would love to be.
It was, man.
I'd love to see that.
I'll put it to you like this: they come out one person at a time, right? And they pick up their instrument and they add to the song, and then a couple minutes later, another person walks out, layers it, and so on and so forth.
Is it just a drone?
Yeah, well, it's just I mean, it's just like each one's doing different shit, you know. So like, and then it's just. Then they had this like they had like 8, probably not 8. They had 4 Super 8 cameras projecting onto a screen behind them. Like so it was like all fucking arty farty. But it was cool. It worked.
Yeah, I bet it was beautiful.
It was fucking great.
I know that
I'd been on shrooms.
They played in Penticton, which is just a few hours away from me, but an hour and a half or so away from me. And I didn't know about it till the day before. Somebody I work with was like, hey, did you hear about Godspeed? I was like, how the fuck do I not know that Godspeed's going to be around? How did I miss that? There's no, I so rarely get good shows. It'll be something crazy. It'll be, you know, you'll go 8 months with no shows whatsoever. And all of a sudden they're just like, Elton John's coming to town. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, of all things, like Elton John is coming to town? The hell?
Oh yeah.
So I was gonna ask you, like, earlier on, I have it written down here basically because I know you're a big music guy. I'm a big music guy. I know that we kind of come from different angles. We probably have some obvious cross sections with stuff like Flaming Lips or Modest Mouse or Death Cab, stuff like that. But I was gonna ask, where did it kind of start? I always loved music myself. I always was listening to music, but I feel like there was a point, and Modest Mouse may have been a part of that when I was 13, 14, where I went, oh, where it really started to mean something more, you know?
I don't really remember music-wise. I could tell you that movie-wise, it was Pulp Fiction for me that changed everything.
Really?
Music-wise, I'm trying to think. I was raised around decent music. My mom was kind of like a hipster. You know, she was going to college when I was a kid still. So she was like hanging out with like fucking people that were listening to REM before they were, you know, popular and shit.
Right.
So like I was hearing like influences of that. Like, you know, like my mom got me into the Pogues when I was really little. I thought the Pogues were fucking hilarious when I was a little kid. So she also listed some garbage, a lot of start offending people here. A lot of
it's fine. It's one of my favorite parts. It's
okay, cool. A lot of the Grateful Dead.
Okay.
Dead.
Not a big fan, huh?
So much so that I stole her working class Dead Man's Blues.
I didn't realize it was going to be me who'd be offended. You fuck.
I stole this album and threw it away because I was so tired of hearing it. She was like, you know where that tape went? I was like, man, I have fucking no idea. I have no idea where that went.
What's the beef with the Grateful Dead then?
I don't know, man. It's weird because I listen to a lot of the shit that my mom listened to. I just don't like them.
Yeah.
I don't like a lot. You know what? A lot of it maybe is their following.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You got to deal with that.
Yeah. So that probably doesn't help. But I don't know. You know, like I used to hate Led Zeppelin. I love Led Zeppelin now. So it's not like my mom listened to a lot of Led Zepp. And for some reason I hated that and loved Tom Petty. My mom listened to a lot of Tom Petty
You know
too,
what's
and I
funny
love Tom Petty.
about Tom Petty? My sister's actually, I should say more, one of my brother's best friends, but for a long time, his dad was a heartbreaker. His name was Richard Gearhart. He was one of the original heartbreakers in like the
From
fucking
Gainesville.
70s or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Hell yeah,
So
that is
just
cool. Yeah.
a random aside. Yeah,
Tom Petty is from Gainesville, Florida, which is where I lived right after moving out of Tennessee. My mom enrolled into the University of Florida, and I lived in Gainesville, Florida for like 5 years.
You go to the same like high school or anything, elementary school as Tom Petty. They ought to be. Do they have a Tom Petty Boulevard?
They have a Lake Alice, which is in the kind of just an alligator infested lake in the middle of Gainesville, and there is a road, a hill that goes down towards Lake Alice if you approach it from one way. And Tom Petty used to have a thing that he did on the radio where he tells a story about, because this was a different time of being drunk driving and missing the turn and driving into Lake Alice. And it was like on the radio, it was like a crazy.
Even
rock
still,
star,
I feel like if anywhere was going to allow that on the radio, it'd still be
Yeah.
Florida. It'd be Florida. Even still,
Gainesville, Florida.
that much didn't really change.
Yeah. So Lake Alice, but yeah, no, Tom Petty was he was there.
So those would
Gainesville's got a
kind of
good
be
music scene.
like something like Tom Petty would kind of be one of those are your younger, your more formative years then that you would have kind of.
Yeah.
So you never had
Yeah.
there was never a time, because I think for me it would have been like, I want to say something like Modest Mouse, Tool, Rage Against the Machine, stuff I found when I was between the ages of like 12 and 15. Some things that I was finally like, oh yeah, this is the cool Radiohead.
It would have to be like Green Day then, like the Dookie album, or
Okay.
Rancid, you know, and Now Come the Wolves.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
like those two albums were super important to me.
Something
I think I was
that just
talking about
kind of
this on
hit a
stream
little
the other
different,
day.
you know.
Well, I think Green Day Dookie was the first album I could ever listen to all the way through with no skips.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then listen to it again. So
That's what I mean. Yeah.
yeah. So that's probably the first time I was ever able to do that, and I remembered that.
Yeah.
But and there was like bands like Pantera that I got into that kind of got me more into like heavy music, like hardcore and shit like that.
Right. You ever listen to Mastodon? Into Mastodon at all?
I've seen Mastodon before. I saw them. I saw it was there mostly for Converge. Converge was opening for Mastodon, but we stayed for Mastodon, and they were fucking dope.
Yeah, I believe that, man. It's like that's an incredible
really
band.
good.
Yeah.
They're really great live.
So do you have, just by chance, offhand, then, because I was going to ask about some of the earlier stuff you were into, what about some stuff that you would say is kind of the all-time? You know, some stuff that if you had a top 50, something like that, if you had a list of some of the things that you think is the most important to you, or something that you would be like,
we
can't skip
music.
that shit. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, you do film or whatever as well, but.
I mean, like Death Cab for Cutie has been with me for, you know, since I was like 21. I'm 43 now. So I'm an old school Death Cab for Cutie fan. I don't really like their new stuff too much. I mean, I don't want to be that guy. It's like, oh, we like their stuff with Chris Walla in it band. But that's kind of
how you feel. Yeah.
Yeah. Hot Water Music's another band I listen to a lot from back in the day. Modest Mouse, obviously. The Weaker Thans, a Canadian band from Winnipeg, is one of my favorite bands of all times.
What kind of music is that?
They're like kind of like 90s emo, like you know, like Midwest emo. You know,
yeah. American football type stuff.
Exactly. Shit, not quite as noodly as the guitar is with American football.
Right.
Not that kind of like
not as
guitar.
math rocky or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, they're great. They actually the lead singer started in a band called Propagandhi, who you may be familiar with.
Once again, I think the name said that's kind of a name you don't really forget. I think if you've heard it, it's a weird name.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I've ever
political punk rock band. But he kind of got tired of doing that and wanted to do more touchy feely stuff.
But are they addressing Canadian politics then?
I don't. I mean, I'm sure they address a lot of different politics, but I'm not entirely sure.
More of a broad, sweeping generalization that might
Yeah,
address
yeah,
American and Canadian politics.
yeah. Truly.
I don't know why that's so funny to me. The concept of a classic punk rock band or something that's bitching about universal health care or
Yeah.
high inflation,
Um.
perhaps.
Yeah. I'm fucking. Somebody needs to be bitching about it, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
Um. But yeah, I'd say those are like four of the bands that I think that I could look back at too right now. Built to Spill, probably. I should throw that in
Oh yeah,
there.
that's a good call. That's a good call. She built a spill shout out as well. Yeah, High Plains is over here like, hell yeah, man, let's fucking go. Hell yeah, let's go. That's what I'm talking about. So
That's the dope shit.
yeah, no, man, that's fair because I don't know. Like I said, I feel like at least for me there was like there was a turning point at some point where I grew up in a very musical family. My dad was doing production for a lot of people in Nashville. Nobody like super successful, but was like, we had a studio in our basement. People would come in, record some stuff. I keep talking about this cupcake lady. Nobody knows who this cupcake lady is. This lady who used to come over to my house all the time. My dad recorded a couple albums for her, and then her music career failed, and so she started a cupcake joint. It's like the most successful cupcake joint in America.
Hey,
Gigi's Cupcakes. You know what I mean?
G-
Shout out to
GG
Gigi
Cupcake
again.
Lady.
Even though I keep bringing this up, nobody fucking knows who does these cupcakes. Who eats cupcakes? I don't know. No, it isn't. It is in the world too. I think it's the biggest cupcake place that there is.
There's like a fancy cupcakery here called the Creamery, I think it's called, and you can go and spend like $10 on a cupcake. It's ridiculous. I mean, they're delicious, but I don't know about $10 delicious.
I don't care. Yeah, I'm not a big cupcake guy myself.
Yeah, I don't really think
fine.
I am either. It's more one of those things that where I'm like, ooh, there's cupcakes here. All right, I'll eat those, but I'm not gonna like go to the store and spend $10 on a cupcake.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I'll
I
go to the
don't.
store and spend $10 on tiramisu, but
A pie? I don't know. I don't need a cupcake. I think that's crazy.
yeah,
Um so I grew up in this house, right? So it was like my dad was doing this. My sister was trying to be like a world famous pop star. She got very close. She got very close to being. She had some songs and some movies. The sequel to Mariah Carey's Glitter, if you're familiar with that movie. They made a
I am
sequel.
familiar.
Nobody knows the sequel. But
The
my
sequel's
sister's
not as
song was
good.
used. Oh no, it's completely unrelated. I don't even
All
know how
right,
they could call it. It's more like a spiritual successor about a
all right.
mafia. They grind somebody up in a meat grinder, like a handheld.
What?
It's wild. Yeah, I don't really understand. I haven't seen it in a long time.
All right.
And then like my brother, he was doing all types of gigs around Nashville and stuff, just playing in pubs and whatever. And then my other sister she was playing piano. This is a very musical family. My mom like couldn't eat dinner
Sounds like it. Yeah.
without some Savage Garden on the radio or something. You know what I mean?
All
Just
right.
always had something. But I feel like there became a point when I was like, I listened to some Modest Mouse or something, and I was like, finally, I have something that's mine.
Yeah.
Finally, I found something. This is for me. You know.
That was punk rock for me.
Yeah.
Like skater punk rock. Like and I
Yeah.
think I dug into that deeply because it was so different from my hippie lifestyle that I was like, raised in. So
Right.
it was like a
Fight
natural
against it a
rebellion
little.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
I'm
Dead
saying
Kennedys
that's
or.
yeah, Dead Kennedys were actually early, but my mom knew about the Dead Kennedys, so that wasn't as
So it
dope.
doesn't count.
Yeah, I was like, she knows about the Dead Kennedys. She knows who Jello Biafra is. It doesn't count. Uh, that's actually, I think, a little true. in my like high school head, I was like, yeah, she knows about this shit. Can't be cool.
Yeah, because it
But yeah,
feels then like it comes out of their era or something
yeah,
like this. It's
exactly.
just
It's
not
like,
music
and
made for
even though
me.
it did come out of their era, I was listening to an album that came out, Give Me Convenience or Give Me Death. I think it was like 82 or something like that.
Right.
So
Right.
it definitely came more out of her era than my era. But I wasn't trying to listen to her shit at that point in time.
It all feels so petty now, doesn't it? Like, it doesn't fucking
It
matter.
really
If
does.
it's great, cool, man. I'm happy
Yeah,
about it. Like that's
exactly.
awesome. Yeah, I had the same problem because my brother was really into stuff like Jimi Hendrix or like Stevie Ray Vaughan, very very guitar front and center type music. And my brother was such a guitar playing kind of guy. It was like anytime I wanted to go tell him something, I'd run upstairs and be like, "Hey Ryan, tell him about my day at school." And the whole time he's just like doing scales and looking at me. And he's like, Yeah, like he's got not even a whole ear like listening, right on. So it made me be like, man, Jimi Hendrix sucks. I don't even like that guy. He's annoying. What a jerk.
Yeah. What a loser that guy was.
Stevie Ray Vaughan too. Like they didn't know anything, What the fuck? Who makes blues music anyways?
Man, I don't like Stevie Ray Vaughan's music.
Well,
he is obviously super talented. I just don't like the music that he made.
It's how I feel about blues in general. I think blues is very understimulating to me. There are exceptions, but overall, I just think blues is it's
like
very rarely
Delta
exciting.
Blues, that old school shit.
Yeah, like a Muddy Waters or
or like Lead Belly and shit like that.
Right. Yeah,
but like, I don't really want to hear Stevie Ray sing about the blues.
That's fair enough.
It's just not something I'm into. I mean, one of my old band members was a huge Stevie Ray Vaughan fan. Like, just like his dad taught him to love him, he loves him, and I'd always be like, I mean, it's fucking stupid soul patch.
Is that how he would shred his licks too? Like, was it? Would he just do that all the time when he was warming up?
No, he was the only talented person in the band. He was like the only one that could read like sheet music and stuff. Yeah. So we didn't bust his balls too hard.
So that's funny because I wrote down here, and I was wondering why I wrote this down. I think I just scribbled some shit when I was watching the other day. I wrote down 90s cover bands. Would that have been this band that you're referencing, or did you have a band you were releasing original music?
It was mostly original music, but it wasn't like I didn't write it. It was like kind of our lead singer John wrote everything and just was like, here, learn this. So it was very much like a John's band, and we were just kind of like along for the ride.
So I'm gonna take a guess. Are you a drummer?
No, I played guitar.
Play guitar. Just are you a lead guitar or rhythm guitar?
I mean, I would say I was a rhythm guitar and a lead guitar position in the band. So it was I wouldn't say I was talented enough to be a lead guitar, but I was in the lead guitar position.
So what kind of music are we talking then? Did John
like
make?
No Frills punk rock?
Yeah, okay.
Nice. Very No Frills punk rock. Like we covered a lot of Rancid, Alkaline Trio, shit like that. But he had a bunch of like original stuff that he wrote too.
Right. Okay, and this would have been the 90s?
No, this would have been like 2005.
Okay, gotcha.
2004, 2005.
So you would have been in Fort Collins at that time?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. And did you guys have any success at all? Was there any? Did you garner any crowd?
I mean, we not outside of like friends, like we won a battle of the bands and recorded an album based off of that. Like that was the thing that we won.
Won a battle of the bands?
Won a battle of the bands in Denver and won like $500 and a record recording contract, which let me just dial that down a little bit because it sounds fancy. What the recording contract was we could record a studio recording. We had like 40 hours of studio time with a dude learning to be an engineer on an old analog system. Like nothing was computerized. It was all analog, like old OG shit.
Right. Like, record to tape.
So yeah, it was recorded to tape. So, and they had reel to reels on the wall and shit like that. It was super old school. And so when they were showing us around the studio, wow, you have to understand, I was straight edge at the time of being in this band. I was the only one that was straight edge. And we're getting shown around the studio, and we get shown to the green room. And the guy's like, this is the green room. If you want to smoke in here, shoot up or whatever, it's all good. I was like, yo, what?
Okay. Okay. Jesus Christ.
All right. So I could probably get naked in here if I wanted to then, right? If we can shoot up in here, surely.
Do whatever the hell you want. Yeah. Fuck, how long did you say? I got 40 hours? Fuck, man.
Yeah. So it was an interesting experience. We learned a lot.
So did they?
Recording an album's not easy.
So you got a whole album in 40 hours?
Yeah.
So you're doing punk rock. We were talking 2-minute songs.
Yeah, we're talking,
Yeah,
you know, 2.5 minute songs.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's
I think our longest song was like 4 minutes.
It's like a ballad, like a power ballad right there. You got going
Yeah,
on.
it's
4
called
minute.
Pain in the Face. I think it might. No, it's not on YouTube anymore.
I was gonna say, is any of this stuff around?
You know, some of it is on my YouTube, but I privatized my YouTube like forever ago because I'm not good at publication. I need to go back through and, you know, I think I have a video of my wife. My wife, she stepped into the stream. This was back when there'd be like 6 people watching me play PUBG. But she fucking, there's a clip of her. I can't show it because she doesn't want anyone nowadays to know what she looks like. But she fucking double headshots 2 people, 4 headshots in a row with a fucking shotgun, and it is one of the best fucking clips ever. But I think I was trying to remove that clip, and I removed everything because I'm super savvy with tech.
Well, okay. All right. So then what happened to John? Did John move on to have a successful, talented music career?
John fired me from the band. John fired me from the band because I had way too big of a mouth.
Which is to say?
I was like, you know, like, I don't like the way things are going with this. I don't like the fact that you're determining all the music. You know, instead of doing it one song at a time, why don't we just fucking sit down and write an album? And he was like, I don't like you trying to.
So you had a hard time. Yeah, you had a hard time confessing that it was John's band. You weren't happy with that. It was definitely
John's band. I was not happy with it. Yeah. I think I got into the band not realizing it was like that kind of control, and
fuck that guy.
It definitely was. You know, he's cool as fuck now. I mean, we talk. We're all friends.
That's good.
In fact, I'm probably gonna have my buddy Austin and both the dudes from the band. I think I'm gonna have them over sometime in December in the studio, and we're all gonna fucking tell stories about shooting ball rockets off on tour. And
I swear to God, I thought you were gonna say shooting up. I thought you were gonna say we're gonna tell stories about shooting up. I was
like, you know, I'm straight edge and I shouldn't do, but fucking
fuck it, man. You know? The apprentice said I could do it. You know,
free, right? You're paying for it, right? All right.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I would love to hear that, just out of curiosity. Just out of curiosity's sake.
We're all good. We're all good pals now. And in fact, I talked to John more than I talked to Austin now, which was like, Austin was one of my groomsmen. John just played the DJ at my wedding, my first wedding. So, no, it's funny, you know. Like we had a sit down conversation where he started raising his voice to me, and I was like, if you fucking continue talking to me like that, I'm gonna take you outside and fucking rub your face in the dirt. And that was I think it was like kind of like maybe you shouldn't be in the band anymore. We're not really friends.
Yeah, when you got that kind of friction, that's not exactly going to produce. However, with the type of music though, I kind of feel like that might be a little more tasteful. Isn't there some shit like with Black Flag or something where they all got pissed off at each other and
they all hate everybody? The time I saw Black Flag, they weren't even called Black Flag because of legal reasons. They were like they were calling themselves Flag.
Just Flag, huh?
Yeah.
That's kind of pitiful.
So there's always all kinds of bullshit with that. I think the Misfits went through it too for a while, and those old school bands that are still trying to survive on they're I
kind of feel like it's almost like what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a rite of passage. You know what I mean? It almost feels like if you're one of those types of bands, you have to go through a period where you all just kind of like got your dukes up. You're just you're sick of each other's shit. And I think that might actually, if you can come out the other end all right, that'll be great. It's not like those emotions are bottled up anymore. You can just kind of let it go.
I like that Metallica.
Write a song about like, fuck John, man, piece of shit.
I mean, looking back at it now, I mean, I don't know how John was expected to react when I was like fingering his face telling him he was wrong. You know, I probably could have handled that shit a little bit better.
Just, you know what, man? Maybe it's better you just get out of the band. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Now it's just like, I think he asked me to be in another band with him like 10 years ago, but I was like, dude, I don't want to drive to Denver to practice and shit. It's just not something I want to do.
Yeah. So do you still play?
No. I mean, I have my guitars out. They're like just off screen here.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, they're just off screen, but they don't get played too often. Unfortunately,
you know,
I need to
one
be
of these
better.
days I'll pick it back up and get back into
Yeah.
it. But yeah, never really quite happen. Or I'll get really drunk one night and play for 20 minutes, and I'll be like, my fucking hand. And
exactly, your fingers are like fucking not used to it.
Yeah. You really got to be on top of it to. I don't know.
That's all right. I'm gonna get on top of it. I'm gonna hit the gym up.
That's the spirit. Yeah, exactly.
Playing guitar again.
I'm gonna jog 40 minutes a day.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna start eating better. Stop drinking.
I eat. No, you know what's really getting me right now is like the fucking munchies, because I was such a user of weed that I didn't really get munchies.
Yeah.
You know, daily using, you know, don't really get in the munchies that much anymore. But I quit for a month, you know, during sober October, and now every time I'm high, I'm like fucking.
It's you hard, huh?
It's on, and I'm like, God, this can't keep going like this. Dude, I made like tortillas. I didn't make it. I reheated and prepared chicken tortilla soup in the middle of the night last week because I was fucking starving at like 2 a.m. I'm talking like sour cream in it, the fucking tortilla strips.
Yeah, you got to have the whole thing if you're gonna do it.
Yeah,
you got to do it.
It was dope. It was dope. But yeah, I definitely am noticing the not so cool side effects of weed now that I'm more of a casual user.
So sober October, was this was it? Do you do this every year?
I wouldn't say every year. I didn't do it last year, but I've been doing it in some form for like 4 years now.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't quit weed every time because that's the hard one. Quitting weed was historically the most difficult part of it.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So alcohol is like not that big. I mean, it's just an inconvenience, right?
It sucks for 2-3 days and then you get over it.
Yeah. I'd say a week and a half for me, but yeah, it sucks for about a week and a half, and then you know the rest of it's not that big of a deal. But if you noticed that I was like streaming in the middle of the night and doing like all kinds of streams, was just like, you know, not getting good sleep and being wide awake and just fucking being like, all right, well, I guess I'll just stream then, since I'm awake anyway.
So you live in a place where it's, I'm not going to say big, but it's insulated enough where you're cool to just stream in the middle of the night, you're not waking anybody up. The wife's not.
Well, I mean, the wife's definitely not. I mean, I you know, close the doors because it's a little warm in here now because I have the doors closed to the studio, and then I have a fan going. Her door is closed on the other side of the apartment, and she usually has like falls asleep watching stuff on TV, so it's usually not that big of a deal. My very first stream when I came home from work at the brewery and sat down, and I was like, all right, this is so awesome. Our walls aren't connected anymore. I'm totally not going to have any issue. Within 5 minutes, the door was open, and she was like fucking all sleepy eyed. And I was like, oh, I fucking woke up my wife somehow. So so I closed the door now. But it works decent enough. I don't know. I try not to be too loud. My neighbors might be bummed. I don't know. No, I feel like
you're probably
we're
fine.
Speaking conversationally right now where they probably wouldn't hear me.
Yeah. It's just normal. And even if somebody was upset, it's like, well, I'm just talking normal, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not up to anything.
It's not like I'm banging on the wall.
You're not shredding the guitar. It's fine.
Yeah, and don't do that shit. It's just talking about that.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because I've never done a sober October, and I didn't know if there was some greater incentive behind it as all. I didn't know if you were like, you know what, I really got
mine is just to keep myself in check, you know, because I love a drink. You know, I don't think that's a fucking secret.
Well, came into that.
So I definitely love a drink, and I just like to just remind myself that I can quit anytime I want to. You know, because if I can't make it a month without drinking, probably need to start making.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Probably means that I probably needed to stop drinking entirely.
That's a good question.
If that's the case.
Yeah, so, you make a great point.
But I did it, so I don't have to quit drinking.
You reassured yourself. You proved it to yourself, and now you're good for another 11 months, right?
Exactly.
That's the spirit.
But yeah, the weed is the hard part. The weed's the hard part. That's the reason I'm not hitting the dab pin right now, is because I will get silly high and I'll be like fucking not able to answer questions.
Right. That's what I don't have. These aren't too hard hitting.
Yeah.
So
You never know, man. I confused the No Nut November. Oh, I fucking thought someone was talking about No Nut November, and they were just talking about Dry November, and I was fucking. It was hilarious.
I don't know how you could do that. I don't
I was
understand how
very
that's a
high.
trend that picked. I mean, no, not November at all. How's
Oh,
that?
got
How do
you.
you get over that? That's such a strange trend. I don't understand.
I don't
What?
think it's a thing that people really do. I think it's like, those sex acts, like the Dirty Sanchez and stuff like that, where it's just like a thing that people say.
The
I don't think
the
that anyone
Cleveland
really,
steamer? Really? You think so?
yeah. I don't think anyone's going a month
You're telling me you don't do
deliberately
the
without
Cleveland
nutting.
steamer? Oh man,
I have never steamered anybody.
that's crazy, man. No, it's so strange because it seems to me like it's pretty wide. There's a lot of reach for the No Nut November thing. There's a lot of people bring it up. You think it's strictly just a joke?
I'm pretty sure it's a joke.
Really?
I mean, I really just don't think it's a good idea to go that long.
I don't think it's a good idea at all.
Yeah.
It's very unhealthy.
That's not a good thing, I don't think. There's certain things that are meant to happen, and you wouldn't go a month without pooping, right?
That's very
Just
poignant of you. Yeah.
dropping factual references, one-to-one comparisons on you.
It's basically the same. Yeah.
Oh man.
Exactly, Ocean Man. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's dangerous. It's physically dangerous to your health to do
And
that.
it's just
It's
like
crazy.
I feel like I'm just a little bit more moody when it's been a while, so you don't want to be moody.
On edge, yeah, akin to not drinking for those first few days or whatever. You're just going,
Exactly.
God damn it, I could use one.
Exactly.
So, I was going to ask you something here. I don't know. This is one of those questions. This is where it gets hard for me. I don't want to bring up
All
something
right.
too touchy, but I also feel like you're pretty open with talking about this
If
stuff.
I've talked about it on stream, we can talk about it here.
You talked about it. I was going to talk to you about the losing the job situation.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you were working at a brewery, correct?
I was. Yeah.
And what was it that you were doing?
I worked in the packaging department. So basically, we took the beer from the beer cellar and put it into the appropriate, container, either a can or a bottle, and then,
Okay. Yeah.
oversee the assembly line of it going into, the paper packaging and,
Right.
getting palletized and getting sent off to the warehouse. That is what I did.
Sending it to the trucks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And how long did you do that for?
2 years, just 2 like years, a few days over 2 years.
Gotcha. And so that palletized to do like that. So then you had done it for 2 years. So what exactly did they just decide to just do some layoffs? Is that what it was, or was it?
No. They fired me.
Damn, that's most unfortunate.
They very much fired me.
Yeah.
The thing that made it complicated was, and I posted this in my Discord. I actually posted the email that started the whole thing just the other day. They basically were putting this big CO2 recapture thing. There's a full size Connex, if you know what a shipping container looks like.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's this fucking really advanced device that helps recapture used CO2 and recycles it. Problem that they had was they didn't measure it well, and when they shoehorned it into the brewery, it was too close to the bottle line assembly.
So hold on. So what is the purpose of bringing this thing in here? Is it just for a green energy initiative type of thing?
Exactly. Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. There's that, but CO2 is a huge problem with shortages and shit like that. So I think their idea was we get the CO2 recapture, we reduce the amount of CO2 we're using, and thus we don't run into CO2 shortage.
Okay. Yep.
So. Yeah, slow sod. The email is fucking bananas. The email basically says we can't have the safety fencing on the pallet, the bottle line anymore because there's not any room for it. with the CO2 recapture. And so we took it off. So be extra careful because you can get messed up on this. Like, that's literally the email. The email, without any irony, states how dangerous the piece of machinery is and how careful you should be now that we've removed the safety equipment off of it.
Okay. Any preventative measure is gone. And
if any of you guys want to see, if any of you guys are listening right now, want to see the fucking thing, it's in my Discord under general, like 2 days ago. There's a screenshot of the email in there. It is mind boggling. And that's when the whole thing started. That's when, like, I was like, all right, well, this isn't going to work for me. You know,
strictly from a safety standard perspective, or just okay, it just suddenly was way more dangerous, and you didn't want to, didn't feel comfortable.
I took it fucking personally. You're gonna put my fucking ass at risk. You're putting my safety at risk just so you can fucking get your fucking green on Instagram. You know, show Colorado how green you are.
Right.
You know, now you're putting packagers.
We've only had we've only had 13 amputations this year, but we are green as hell.
Yeah, you know, is ridiculous. So I went to the safety liaison at my department and said to him, "What are your thoughts on this? Because I'm not going to work this, and I don't know if I'm going to get fired when I say I'm not going to work this." And so he was like, all right, we'll look into it. I'll go talk to someone. A week later, I hadn't heard from anybody. And I happened to see the actual safety coordinator which is weird, at 9:00 at night. So I was like, hey, Doyle, you got a second? He's like, yeah. So I go show him this. Like, he doesn't already fucking know. Like, dude, you fucking know about this shit already. You know, dog, don't try to play dumb with me. And he did. He tried to play dumb with me. Like,
come on, Doyle.
That's not good. Yeah. And so 4 days later, I was called into the community room, a conference room, and was fired.
Okay, well,
for an attitude problem that, look, I'm not saying that I've never copped an attitude, but I mean, look, if I've got an attitude problem, I expect to have been spoken to about it at some point in time, right?
Like a warning is what you mean? Something like that?
Like someone's like, hey, you know, you're kind of going off. Everything all right at home?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
These are the things a good supervisor does. You know, it's a good supervisor will go at, you know, and you know, hey, you know, how are things going? I've been hearing some complaints that you kind of been losing your temper, which is kind of true. When I say lose my temper, I wasn't like fucking shouting at people and shit, but I was definitely like moody and fucking not talking.
A lot of like a hardline fuck this shit type of thing. Like,
like I was like, dude, this is fucking bullshit. And you know, I wasn't, it fucked with my morale big time. So, you know, they decided that they didn't want me there anymore. And it was probably for the best, 100% for the best. But I also don't like being fucked with.
So are there grounds to sue under those circumstances?
Yeah, there's grounds. You just got to find someone. You got to find a lawyer that will take it on.
It's not. Okay.
And I talked to a lawyer's office, and they were like, we think that you should go through OSHA on this. So I go through OSHA, file a whistleblower's complaint, and OSHA basically was like, you have to prove that your boss knew it was you that made the complaint about the violation. And I was like, how do I prove that? And they're like, that's fucking on you, buddy. I don't know. I'm just telling you what you
go get a PI now, man.
Yeah. So I mean,
Jesus.
You know, that their stuff came from a lawyer's office, which it did make me happy that they had to use billable hours on little old me, that they had to get a lawyer involved, their lawyer involved, and pay him and shit like that. But there's basically the lawyers. You know, there's two kinds. The kind that'll take your case as long as you're paying, they don't give two shits. And then there's the kind that they don't make any money unless they win. And they're the ones that are really the ones that are like going to be really cautious about what they take. But the other one was charged $350 an hour. So obviously that's not a
you're like, I just lost my job, motherfucker. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So how did that all make you feel then when that happened? Did that
Yeah, I was really shocked, man. I've never been fired from a job before, you know.
Yeah.
So I held a job for 16 years without being fired from it somehow. So I've never been fired from a job. So it was definitely like, uh, like a gut check a little bit.
Especially
But I
for
think a lot.
attempting to do the right thing.
Well, I
It
think
seemingly.
the problems that I had were trusting to go to my leadership to deal with problems when I should have gone straight to HR.
Right. Okay. So you're saying
And
rather than just
I would recommend that to anybody watching right now. To if your boss is like, hey, if you ever have any issues, just come to us about it. No, fuck you, buddy. I'm going to HR and getting that shit on the record.
okay.
Because
Okay.
if
Yeah.
I had done that, this whole thing would have been different.
Right. Okay. Just so you're saying because there would be documentation of you making that
Yeah,
rather than just going, "Hey, Steve, like this isn't quite right."
exactly. There would
Right.
actually have
Right.
been documentation.
And so
So
then, what did you? What was kind of the how do I the fallout essentially of that? Did you did you start drinking more? Did you
no, I think
you just
that
go right back to it and look for work or?
no, I had my retirement. I had been putting like they were matching pretty good for the first year, I think, at the brewery. I ended up with like $8,000 in 2 years of like my 401k. So I just cashed it out.
Yeah.
Took
Okay.
obviously huge tax and
Of course.
penalties
Of course.
on it, but that left me with a few $1,000s to kind of live on and not have to worry about it. They're actually fighting me on unemployment. So that's the level. That's how mad they are at me for reporting it to OSHA.
So are you currently unemployed then?
Yeah, I'm currently unemployed.
God
Yeah,
damn. What's
yeah,
that
I've
do?
been
How's that
unemployed for
feel?
like 3 months. It's pretty fucking dope, dog. I don't know if you've ever been unemployed,
I
but
haven't. No, not since I was fucking
yeah,
17.
yeah,
I've tried.
it's kind of dope. I kind of just stream a lot, and I try to help out around the house more.
Yeah, yeah.
Since I'm not contributing financially. Mrs. Roffel makes enough money that it's not like we don't talk about what she does on stream, but
Uh-huh.
she makes enough money it's not. Basically, me being fired means that we can't order DoorDash anymore.
That's not so
that,
bad.
that's literally all it means.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, obviously, I for my own personal well-being and adultness, for lack of a better term, I'd like to be
Yeah.
gainfully employed. It's not something that I'm like, I don't gotta work because my wife makes good money. That's not what I'm
Right.
saying.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
saying
yeah.
there's not like, we have the puppy coming in like 5 days.
Huge,
So
huge.
like I'm just gonna be a stay-at-home puppy dad for like a good month or so.
Yeah, so you're in no rush then, basically.
No, I'm
You've
in no
kind of,
rush right now.
yeah.
I'll probably just find some factory job that fucking sucks and just try to
Mm-hmm.
just get by until I find something better that I don't hate.
Yeah. Find something, just do something else you love to make up for all the
Yeah,
bullshit you got to deal with. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
No, I'm in a similar,
But
not, I can't say not similar, but I'm in a job search myself at the moment. And I'm doing this landscaping shit and it's been cool. I've never done it. Spent this whole
it's
summer
hard
doing it.
work.
It quite a bit. Yeah, it depends
Yeah,
really on the temperature. I can handle with like
yeah,
being busy and lifting heavy shit and like kind of nonstop work. That part's fine. But when it's like fucking, how do I say this in Fahrenheit? Like 105. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Fuck that. It's awful. It's god awful. There was a few. I kind of got in a little late in the summer. We didn't have more than maybe 5 or 10 days that I worked that were really bad. Um, but I did that, and now the season's over. So now I'm stuck having to look for some bullshit. I don't want to, I cooked for like 12
yeah.
years or whatever. I don't want to go cook again. Kitchens suck ass, man. I don't know what to do.
My buddy I worked with at the brewery loved working in kitchens. He said the only reason he left kitchens because lack of benefits. Not being able to get health insurance and shit.
Yeah, that guy's a psycho. I mean, there's something about cooking in kitchens, man, and it can be fun if you got a good, solid group of people and you really get along, and the business runs like a well-oiled machine. It can be
Yeah,
fun, and there can be great days, and you can have a good time high fiving, you know, chain smoking, whatever the fuck it is that you do when you work in a kitchen. And like that part is it can be all well and good, but it's too stressful, man. It's just so fucking
Yeah.
stressful. I think like when I stopped working in the kitchen I was in, you know, in like I'd say fucking May, June, something like that, I think my mood just elevated like tenfold from just not being
Yeah.
always like wired all the time, you know, from having to
Dude, I mean,
do that
like
type of work.
leaving the brewery, I didn't realize how unhappy I was at the brewery until I left the brewery, and I was like, "Holy shit, I'm so much happier not having to fucking go do that." I mean, dude,
Yeah.
the job at its best is fucking loading paper into machines every like 15, 20 minutes, you know, and waiting for the machines to fuck
There's
up and have
actually a
to fix
brewery
them.
just around the corner from me.
Yeah.
Should I go give them a shout, you think? Should I?
Well, are they a big enough brewery that they have automation? Because if it's not, you could be doing it like hand.
I'm gonna assume
Yeah.
that that's a yes. I think it is. I think it's a very
All
big
right.
brewery. I don't really know. I'm not too keen on the scale, but it's quite large, I would say.
I've
They do like
decided that
Old
the
Mill
brewery.
and PBR
Oh,
and
okay. Oh, okay.
Sapporo and
So they're
stuff
big.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
they're a massive brewery. All right. Yeah, I've decided that brewery is not for me. I don't really feel like I like beer way too much to just be handed it free.
Be
It's
around it all
just
the time.
yeah, it'd
Yeah,
be like if I worked at like an Oreo factory. It's like, dude, that's not a good idea for me. It's not a good idea for
yeah.
me.
I had
Should
a
be eating
friend.
Oreos all the time.
I had a friend who worked in the lab at this brewery over here. And so all he's got to do is just like test the gravity and shit like that. I don't really know. I don't know the
Mm-hmm.
specifications.
Yeah,
He's not
yeah,
a
yeah.
scientist. He took a 2 week course or whatever, and they gave him the job. And he did it for a few years. But his biggest problem, and here I am, like going to work every day, sweating my ass off in the kitchen, like nonstop hard work. And then I look at him and he's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna quit my job because I like can't find anything on Netflix to watch anymore. I'm like, what the fuck? Like he's running out of shit to he got no podcast to
Yeah.
listen to. He's bored at his job. I'm like, man, pay
Well,
me
it's
to do
just
that
like
job. That's crazy.
that's that whole perspective thing, right?
Of
People's
course.
perspectives get
Of course.
all
Yeah.
skewed.
Relative, right? It's all
I
relative,
you know
right?
what? I see that a lot of times, and I'm not going to mention any names, but most people probably wouldn't know who I was talking about anyway. But there's some streamers that do it for full time, make a good living off of it, and then there's a few that I watch that are just like constantly fucking like doom and gloom, and like it's like fucking go back to doing what you were doing before then.
Well,
If
these
you
can't.
hate,
Well, you're not
if you
talking
hate,
about people in the
no,
around here,
not
right?
from Geo. No, no, I'm talking about people doing this shit for a living and making good money off of it.
Yeah, yeah. You know some guys.
I mean, I don't want to mention any names. They're from the PUBG community.
Okay, yeah, no. You don't gotta do that. No. I
Yeah,
just didn't know
but
if you
they're
were
like,
talking about like fucking Hassan, somebody like that. No,
no,
okay,
no,
okay.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. But people, and I'm not saying that you can't, that you can't be unhappy being streamer, being streamer, you can be very unhappy.
Mm.
And that's fine. But if you're not doing anything about it, if you're not like actively trying to better your situation through therapy or through, a psychiatrist or something like that, and like, what the
Sure.
fuck are you doing?
Or trying to make it good for yourself.
Yeah.
It's coming back around like I mean, I don't really have a problem streaming. Sometimes I'm not in the mood or whatever. I only do 3 days a week. But part of the reason I wanted to have this conversation thing, I was just listening to a lot of Mark Maron and I was like, I like the way he talks to people and I don't know how to talk to people that way. And so I figured like there was just a dumb idea I had at work one day. I was listening to it. I was like, man, it'd be cool if I could just ask some people around, how's it going?
Yeah.
What you up to? What's your story? How are you? And just like essentially try something different so that it makes me a little bit more excited to come and sit down and do the thing.
Yeah.
And like then you can also like learn and grow and change and like
That's how I started doing it. We were watching YouTube videos of tattoo artists judging tattoos, and I was like, I have like 2 tattoo artist friends. I should bring them in, and we could fucking watch these videos together. That's literally how it started. But yeah, it frustrates me to no end when I see streamers that are like, have bought their house flat out with money that they got from streaming, and they're like trying to like talk about it's like, dog, if you're so unhappy, go back to what you were doing before.
yeah, or take a few months off.
I think after about 2 weeks of you doing what you were doing before, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's right, my perspective was all fucked up. I did have it really easy, and I would prefer to stay there. You know,
100%.
doing the whole streaming and making a living off of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just one of those things that bothers me about you know, bigger streamers.
Yeah, I mean, I can see wearing yourself out on it for sure.
Oh,
And
for sure.
like I said, I only do it 3 times a week, and sometimes I'm like, man, I just know I'm not in the mood, you know. But if you're doing it 5, 6 times a week and just you're beating
You gotta
yourself
be
up, you're
in
gonna
it.
lose your fucking mind, man. You got to go and
Well, it's not
especially if
just
you make
that.
money.
Yeah, it's not just that. Like, you know, it's like it's not like I don't feel like streaming today, so I'm not going to. It's like, no, you got to. It's your job.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and that
You have a
if you don't,
contractual obligation now to
yeah,
do it. You know,
if you're not streaming, your viewers are watching somebody else, and they may get cozy over there watching somebody else.
that's
And
true. Yeah,
next thing you know, you can't pay rent. So, I mean, look, the
oh,
idea of
boo
trying to
hoo! Yeah.
the idea of trying to make a living doing this is crazy to me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like it enough as a hobby. I think it's a great
I mean,
hobby.
if I got stupid money for it, I would do it for a while. You know, full time for sure. Yeah, life changing money, absolutely. But yeah, I kind of like it as a hobby too, man. I just prefer to. I don't. If someone sucks, I want to tell them they suck. You know, I don't want to like. I don't want to be like, oh, I don't know if I want to say that about this person because it's gonna like maybe put people off about my stream, and they're gonna think that like, you know, like, no, hey, you come through my stream and you fucking suck. I'm gonna fucking let you know you fucking suck.
Yeah, if I can't do that here, where the fuck can I do it, for Christ's sakes? This is my show. You know, like, come on, man. If you're gonna be a knob, I can tell you that. You keep that shit up, get out of here. You know, like it's
It's
nice.
It's in a locker.
Kind of cathartic. You know, fucking shove that bitch in a locker. Yeah, it's kind of cathartic in a way. It feels good to it because there's not that many places in your life where you get the opportunity. You can't be at work and just be like, "Hey, Jeff, get the fuck out of here, man. You're annoying me." You know, unless you got a really cool coworkers or something.
I'll see you in fucking 14 days, asshole. You're boring the shit out of me.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, you can't just block them like a Black Mirror episode.
That's a 14-day ban. I'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it does feel. Pixie brought up this guy Trevor, right? We were watching. You ever watch that movie Koyaanisqatsi? You know that one? Oh, you gotta watch it. Incredible film. It's just music by Philip Glass, and then cinematography of like huge landscapes. Eventually, it goes into like cities and stuff, and it's kind of there's no words, there's no specific story, there's no characters. It's just like found footage stuff that they would record like streets of New York City and then speed it up a million times super fast. You can see this kind of like organism flow of the way a city works, and they do this really, really amazing stuff. It's an incredible movie. You got to see it. So we had watched that once on stream. A little while later, we were watching the sequel called Powakatsi. Similar theme, just a different part of the world. They cover like Africa and India and stuff. And so we're watching. This guy comes in and he just starts kind of like, he reported me for watching it because it's a Francis Ford Coppola paid for the movie and he's the producer for it. So the guy comes in, he reports me. It's a movie from like fucking 1983. I mean, like who cares? Like it's not like a Brad Pitt movie, you know, that's made with a huge budget. It's just some fucking film. So I was able to yell at this guy because it was 2 a.m. We're just hanging out. You know, if I had 5 friends on the couch watching this movie together, it's what it felt like, right? This douchebag comes in here, starts going off about it, how I'm so awful. I've done this horrible thing, but I was able to like just let it out. And it was so nice. It was so nice. I think I slept really great that night. Woke up feeling.
Those people are so strange. The you're getting away with DMCA fucking shit, and I don't like it. People, like, they're so bizarre. You see these people hate that you can get music off of your VODs now. Like they fucking, it's like a tribe.
It's a tribe
of people, of little cock fucking suckers.
Yeah.
Big corporate dick suckers.
Yeah, it's bootlicking corporations basically. Like, oh yeah, you know who doesn't have enough money? Disney. So maybe you really shouldn't stream this movie for free. You should give them money so that you can stream it. Make sure that somewhere down the line Disney makes 50 cents off of your viewing or whatever.
I definitely remember seeing a lot I used to see a lot of that like kind of talk in like Reddit and shit like that with Twitch Reddits when they were talking about DMCA bans and shit like that. Well, if you don't use music that it doesn't belong to you, shouldn't be a problem then. And it's like, all right, dude. So what about those video games that don't belong to you that you play?
Yeah, yeah.
You
The
know,
entire
like,
nature of the framework that this website was built on,
exactly,
essentially. Yeah.
exactly. So, but those people are silly. They're just silly people.
I just don't. I don't understand where you come from with that type of perspective. That's crazy to me. But it felt good, though. I guess is what I'm trying to say. It felt good and felt nice because there's no other point in my life if my brother is being a dick or Dr. Poison. It's very rare that I'm just going to be like, you know what, man, go fuck yourself. You're a fucking piece. You know what? Just be able to really like let it out and go, man.
Yeah.
A rare opportunity to do that. I guess is kind of
sometimes it feels really good. There was a dude that used to come through my channel a lot. If it was like from a community that I was involved in, like through PUBG,
mm-hmm.
and he used to always come through and say like pro gun shit, and like he would always like make shit just monk ass. And the time he did it after I stopped like caring, he hadn't been through in like 6 months. He rolled through and fucking said some shit, and I just lit him the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And he was like, I can't believe you're talking to
Were
me
you
like
in
this.
the military? I don't understand.
Yeah. I told him to get fucked, and I was like, here, let me help you out, homie. And I banned him for life.
Yeah.
I banned him for life and the afterlife. I don't care. Life and afterlife, that dude is banned. But that is one of those things that you can't do if you are trying to make a living doing this. Well, I think someone said it
I
earlier.
think you can, but you have to.
No, hold on. Slow. No, Majik said it. When it's a hobby, you can tell people to fuck off. When you're trying to make it, you can't. Then you reach a point where you're so big, you can tell people to fuck off again. That is 100%.
I think
true.
that's a good way to put it. Yeah. 100%.
But the hard part is making it to that.
No, because that's an extremely high level. That's one of those essentially lottery winning perspective.
The fuck you money.
Yeah.
Fuck you money.
Yeah, like High Plane says, it's like Hassan spends all day telling people to fuck off. Yeah, he does. It's a big part of it. It's like, I disagree with you. Go fuck yourself, dumbass. You know what I mean? Or like you're not getting my point. I've been talking about it for 2 hours. Get the fuck out of here. But that's definitely one of those, like, that's a 1% right there.
Yeah,
you
Hassan's got fuck you money.
Yeah, and a contract. He's got a guaranteed fan base. People aren't going anywhere, whether they're coming in to talk shit to him or alongside him. That's there's that part's not going anywhere for years, if ever. It's a nonstop train right there. Yeah, it'd be. Part of me is funny when you think about that too. It's like part of me thinks, man, that'd be like kind of sick to have like a grade where I could just hang out, chill, talk some shit, play some, do some, talk about music, talk about whatever, play some video games and make good money. Other part of me is like, man, that sounds kind of rough. I got to deal with all those freaks,
If you can keep things in perspective and you have a good moderation team, I think that it would probably be all right. But like I would have a hard time keeping things in perspective. Dude, if I had 30,000 people watching me every day, I think I would turn into a maniac.
Yeah, I think it'd be really hard not to.
Yeah, I think I would probably I would have to really focus on not turning into a maniac, not like letting the fact that like a lot of people like you're the shit like in your ear all the time telling you how great you are. And to not start believing that shit.
Yeah, I would say it's probably impossible to get out of that without an inflated ego, it'd be really, really hard. It'd have to do more with how you manage your ego at that point. You have to be self-aware of it enough to know not to be obnoxious about it, I guess, but it could be tough, man. It could be tough. Like and this is going to sound kind of stupid of me even now, but like none of my family ever comes in here to watch these streams that I do. And I feel like from the time that I started last September until now, where it's like I have a consistently like cool group of people that are always coming around and hanging out and stuff. Part of me is like, I'm like, guys, do you want to come see like this cool thing I'm doing? I kind of wish like, come on, we just want to like show you what's up. It's like kind of cool, kind of rewarding. And I'm happy to be to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also don't know if it's like kind of, I don't.
It's always going to be weird to your family and friends that don't know what the hell's going on with it. Right. Like my friend Kyle that I worked with, you know, he's in this sludge band, and I've gone to see him live several times, and I was like, Kyle, when are you gonna come through my stream? And he's like, buddy, I don't do Twitch. And it's like, oh, okay. But you're telling me you can't fucking spend 5 minutes to come swing in and see what I do in my fucking spare time in my hobby after I've been to your shows, paid fucking ticket prices to get in,
bought merch,
fucking merch. You know, you can't spend 5 minutes. He eventually did come in and was a guest on the stream.
No,
yeah, that just shit just always gets to me.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Me and all my siblings, I'm not going to say we're like super tight or anything like that, but no, we don't, none of us have a problem with one another. You know, we're all good friends. When we get together, it's like fucking, it's so good to see each other. It's always a great time, but it makes me think like, man, I'm live like to the public for like 20 hours a week, just hanging out, doing my thing. If do you guys never find yourself sitting on the couch like, I wonder how Matt's doing these days?
Yeah.
And then you don't even like check Twitch.
I wish there was a thing where
if only he had like a camera on him and I could see how he's doing, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So I was gonna ask you too. We can wrap this thing up pretty soon if you're cool with that. Unless you got more,
Dude, if you keep asking me questions, I'll keep going.
Well, I got 200-300 more questions here. I got written down. So, well, first off, I got to get this out of the way. How's your mom doing? Right. Your mom good? She well?
My mom?
Yeah.
I have no idea how my mom's doing.
So you don't talk to her?
No, we're not close.
No.
She was horribly, verbally and emotionally and physically abusive to me, and has never really owned up to it. So
I see.
We're just not close. We're just not close.
Well, that was...
You weren't expecting that, were you?
Not entirely, but I noticed that you didn't really say much anyways when given an opportunity. So I didn't know if it was just because...
No, you know, we're not tight. You know, I don't mean, you know, I'm not like actively wishing harm to her or anything. I just like she does her thing.
And, yeah.
And I do my thing.
Yeah. She doesn't live in Colorado, does she?
No, I think she's in Utah these days.
Yeah. Okay. What'd she do for work?
I don't know. She worked at she traveled abroad for a while. And she did like English as a second language in China for a number of years.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And like she was also before that she was like in an ashram in northern India like for like 2 years doing yoga.
Sounds like a peculiar cat, this lady.
Yeah, she's an interesting lady. You know, she's not dragging kids around the house anymore, or around the world anymore, following her exploits. So I guess she can do whatever she wants now.
Well, after that response, then it's hard for me to bring up a question about your dad. Is your dad around? You got
my dad passed away. My dad took his own life when I was a baby. Really? Anything else you want to ask me about?
Wow. No, I mean, well, why didn't we get into this? I should have started off with this shit. You know what's funny though, man? I have it written down. From Tennessee, I was going to ask mom and dad, what do they do for work?
Yeah. So my mom, I don't know what my mom does for work anymore. I think she works in like,
you know what?
She does something. She does something.
In a way, I'm almost kind of glad that this happened now. Cause you know, the essentially where I steal that from, I stole it from Mark Maron. Cause I think he always asks people about their family. What your pops do? You know, how's your mom doing? Your dad's a good guy. Is he a good guy? And I thought it'd be really funny just to randomly ask people that, but I knew that this is possible. You know, my dad passed away, so I can at least kind of get past that part. Maybe not quite, not quite the same way, but you know, I figured that this would come up eventually. I didn't think it'd be on the fucking second one, man. So,
yeah.
I mean,
oh, it's all right. I mean, my dad died when I was like 6 months old, so it was a long time ago. It was quite a while ago.
I get it, not affected. Still a peculiarly a bit of a heavy, loaded question, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Or don't have a lot to say about it, I suppose.
There's not much to say. I mean, honestly, it sucked growing up without a dad. I can tell you that. But
did you have the gambit? Was your mom bouncing around with a bunch of no? Not even going through college?
What are you asking if I had a bunch of uncles?
Sure, in a roundabout way. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really remember dudes
Nobody
in the
sticks out?
house.
Yeah, okay.
No. I remember like she had a couple of friends that I remember that one was Marvin and he was gay. He was the first gay man I ever met. And that was like when I became fucking, for lack of a better term, an ally, you know, like, because I didn't understand why people fucking wanted to do physical harm to my mom's friend Marvin because he kissed dudes. Like, I was just raised in a very liberal household. So, like, that shit was so fucking foreign to me that someone would hate somebody just because they kiss dudes instead of girls. Like, but yeah, that was.
I feel like I never had a Marvin, and I still always felt the same way. It was like the moment that I was conscious of that, the moment that I knew what it was to be gay and realized that there were people out there like you're speaking of that want to do harm or that hate them for some reason. I just never understood that. I just never understood it. And, you know, and I grew up in the South too. And it just never, it's always kind of this weird, perplexing. Why does that matter? Who cares about that? Why is that a big deal? So we got a question here from Majik. So Majik says he wants to know how Lefty met Mrs. ROFL.
Oh yeah, that's the easy one.
Okay.
I met her online. We were in the same guild together. No, just kidding. I met her on a fucking website called Match.com.
Did you really?
#ad.
What year?
2013 probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I was fucking so lonely living in an apartment by myself after had, you know, separated from my wife, maybe my first wife, maybe 8 months. Yeah, about 8 months before that. And dude, some of the most unhappy times of my life, you know, just drinking, coming home from work from the trash company, from a job I hated after working 12 hours, you know, coming home, just drinking like 6 strong IPAs, you know, and then ordering some fucking takeout and fucking going to bed unhappy. And I was just doing that over and over again. And finally I was just like, I'm just going to try one of these fucking dating websites out and see. And dude, so quick. This shit is too easy, dude.
Wait, was she the first snag?
Second.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was so easy. It was this shit was too easy. The first one, not so dope. I'm sure she's a nice lady. But she was not Mrs. ROFL caliber. So
for sure.
Yeah, that's how I found her. And actually I quit my job not too long after dating her. I kind of had to turn to her and be like, hey, I know we've only been dating for a couple months, but I'm quitting my job and I'm moving to Denver to live with my brother. Do you want to keep dating?
And she was in Fort Collins?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
She was down. She was down to keep dating. So
real long distance relationship you got going on there.
It was like it worked out all right. I worked at this sporting goods store. I worked in the ski and snowboard shop. Like tuning skis and snowboards and waxing them and, you know, getting them all fucking ready. And I would I'd get like 3 days off. So I'd work like Saturday night and I'd just drive up Saturday night and we'd hang out Sunday, and then she'd have to go to work Monday and I'd stay up there and I would just go to this fucking pub and watch EPL games and fucking drink
EPL?
cheap, English Premier League, sorry. Okay. So I would do that during my free time and then hang out with her when she got off work. And it worked pretty well, you know? And then we eventually decided to move in together. I moved back to Fort Collins.
When'd you get married?
We got married 4 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. Before the big events, the big.
Yeah, nothing crazy though. We didn't have like we just went to the courthouse. We just made it official. We didn't spend like $15,000 on a wedding or anything like that.
For sure. Just went in there, you high five or whatever you got to do, and then,
that's exactly. You just high five, and then you have to do the thing where you drink the champagne.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's mandatory. Yeah.
Mandatory, or else it doesn't count. But no, that's where I met her at, and she's been The fucking shit.
Yeah. How's that then? How's that then having a, you got the, I guess it doesn't seem like it really gets in the way at all. The streaming thing, you know, I feel like if I was always like, you hang out in there, I'm going to be in here doing my thing. You know, I would feel bad sometimes about it or whatever.
So that gives Sarah, excuse me, that's not her name. Mrs. Roffle is her name.
Jessica is what he said.
Exactly. Everyone knows her name. Just don't call her that.
Okay.
Just make sure you call her Mrs. Roffle.
You got it.
But Mrs. Roffle, you know, she does her own shit. You know, she likes to watch cooking shows, of which I always have to make fun of. There's one where it's like there's like 5 of them together, and one of them sounds like she's hammered all the time. And I'll be like, so what you guys put olive oil? She'll be like, can you go away? Go stream or something. So it's like perfect.
It's like a getaway.
Time. Yeah, it's like perfect time for her to watch her, you know, if she wants to watch Friends or wants to watch a cooking show or wants to watch some shit that I normally don't
care for.
No, not Julia Childs. I would watch Julia Childs just for old school. Now, this lady is similar to Julia Childs in the sense that she also sounds intoxicated. No, I can't remember. I can't remember what the show's called. It's like on the Food Network, and it's like there's like 5. It's like The View, but they're cooking.
Yeah, I'm not gonna know. That's for sure. I have no idea.
Horrendous.
It's not the, what is that with the, there's like the baking one, right? What is it, the best British baking bonanza?
No, that's a different thing.
Not that one?
I've never watched that before.
Okay.
I've heard of that show, but I've never watched it before. That's the people were like, that was a Netflix thing for a while. People were mad talking about the British Bake Off.
I think it was a big deal during during COVID too. I think a lot of people really fell in love with that. I think.
Man, GeoGuessr was a big deal during COVID too. I remember that.
It was. That was when I started playing. I mean, I had played prior to it, but that was definitely when I started, when I got into it.
So I'm being attacked by a fruit fly. Excuse me.
I had the same problem. I had to kill him before the interview. I was like, "You fuck! You're not gonna make me fucking swat in the air."
You know, Sachi told me how to get rid of them, and I need to try it out. She said to pour boiling water down the fucking drain in the bathrooms. That's where they're at. They like lay their little fucking gross little eggs in the drain, the bathroom sinks. And I was like, I think that actually is right, because like I remember turning on the faucet one time and some gnats flying out.
They come up from the drains.
Yeah, so like to like hang out in there and do their gross fucking gnat sex stuff.
I thought you were going to talk about the apple cider vinegar thing, but that's more how to catch and kill them, not permanently eliminate. It's interesting because I you know what, because I can, you know, you slack a little in the springtime and you forget one extra day to take the garbage out, forget or neglect to take the garbage out, and then all of a sudden you wake up that day and there's like 5,000 of you. I didn't even open the damn window. So that makes sense. I didn't realize
this was like a thing with this place. We never had this problem with the old place, and then moved into this place, and there's fucking fruit flies.
You chose to GeoGuessr to gnats in a matter of 1 minute. Hey, dude, this is just how we do things around here. All right.
This is eclectic conversation.
So I'm gonna ask you then about the pup.
The what?
The pup, Maggie.
Oh, the pup. Yeah. What's up?
Yeah.
What you want to know?
So what kind of pup is it?
You seen the new pictures? It's a corgi, little corgi pupper.
Corgi, nice. And I'm assuming that the name was predetermined. I'm gonna assume it was already named Maggie.
We named it Maggie after Geo Maggie.
This is getting 100%. Too weird. Yeah, this is getting too weird.
We were like, this is Maggie just seemed like the person in the Geo community to name the corgi after.
That's the most fitting. Yeah.
Why would you say that? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, Maggie came from a list of shit that we were looking at. We were literally looking at like 100 fucking dog names, and they were like all like Benedict or corgi names, I should say. They were like, you know, Archibald.
Wait a second. Yeah. You're telling me there's like breed specific name lists?
Yeah, they're like super British. They name them super English names, you know.
Oh, jeez. It makes sense. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah. Maggie is a great name. Why wouldn't you want to choose it? Exactly. So, but that was crazy though to find out that there was a connection to Lou too, because we called Emma, or our old cat, we called her Emma Lou, and so we're calling Maggie Lou. We're carrying on the Lou.
Isn't that a song?
Is it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it is.
No, but I'm super excited about this. We have everything. I'm super nervous too.
Do you already have any? Do you have any pets already?
No, I mean we had our cat. You know, we had her put down back in March. She was just extremely low quality of life, and it was time. But that was Emma. But I've only had cats since I was like 18. You know, I was raised in public housing. You know, you don't really get pets when you live in the PJs.
So why are you nervous?
Because this is like a fucking huge responsibility. Like a cat is self-contained.
Yeah, it is.
You know, like a cat is too easy.
Yeah.
This puppy is like I gotta take her out every 2 to 3 hours.
You gotta train him.
You gotta train him. You gotta fucking do. You gotta do all this stuff. It's a much higher game.
Yeah. Go for runs. Take him to the park.
Yeah, we can't even take her to the park until she's 16 weeks.
Really? Well, how old are you getting her at? 10 weeks, right?
8 weeks.
8 weeks? Okay.
8 weeks.
Yeah, a couple months then. That's not so bad.
Yeah. So we gotta, because we can't take her to public places until fucking she's got all of her vaccinations.
Right. Well, that's sick. That's exciting. That's in a way not a huge new chapter, but a new chapter enough, right?
I'm so excited. It's a huge new chapter for me. I think this is like we're taking this like almost like it's a fucking like a baby,
a child. Yeah, that's fair.
And
in a way, it is.
We're gonna be just as annoying too on social media and shit like that. We'll be like fucking first day of doggy school, fucking
yeah.
Put
some clothes on her, you know.
Hell yeah, dude. We're doing
little
all
booties.
And we kept her tail too, so she'll have her little tail.
Is that a thing? Do they get rid of tails?
Yeah, they dock them when they're very, very young.
What does that mean?
They cut them off. They
really?
They removed the tail. Yeah. Apparently, there was a reason for it back in the day because they were like a herding animal, and like they could get their tail stepped on by cows or.
Wait, are we talking about dogs in general or just corgis? Just corgis specifically, really?
I can't talk to too much other than that. I'm sure there's other herding dogs that have their tails docked too, but specifically corgi puppies get their tails docked because of that. And she's not going to do much herding, so we decided not to remove her tail.
You don't have any sheep out there?
There's no sheep that we're going to herd or anything with her, so we just decided to go ahead and hold on to that tail. Plus, I don't know, it just like I know it's done young and stuff like that, but I don't know. It's like if they hadn't asked me and they just did it, I probably wouldn't have been all twisted up about it. But they were like, "So, do you want us to chop the tail off?" And I felt like responsible, and I was like, "Maybe not."
Hell no. But however, I do think of some dogs that got some pretty stiff tails. You know, they're trying to hang out in the living room. They're swiping, glasses off the coffee table and shit. You know,
or like fucking beating their tails against corners and drawing blood. I remember I had a friend when I was younger whose dog, his tail would just fucking whack so hard that like.
Oh man, I never heard of that, but that completely makes sense. Yeah, it's just like a whole other bone out there. Man, that's crazy.
But the other thing was the whole. We were looking at the pluses and minuses of it. Another minus is that that's like kind of their big indicator of communication, right? So if they don't have their tail to communicate with other dogs,
imagine stress them out.
Twitter, X.
Yeah, no X. Keep them off of that. Yeah, Maggie can't be on there, isn't it? Too young.
Toxic, just like her dad.
Yeah, too toxic. So what's next for you? What do you do? What are you doing now? Gonna just hang out with the
I
dog, maybe look
I
for a
think
job, maybe.
the puppy is going to be the main thing for the next month and a half, and
Yeah.
then still looking for a job, but more just for if something really amazing pops out. I imagine I'll probably just have to take what I can get, in a month or two.
Sure.
Because that retirement money won't last forever. It ain't going. It's dwindling, so it won't last forever. So
I'm sure that October probably saved you quite a bit of money, though, huh?
it did. It saved me so much money to the point where I was like, yo, I don't actually know if I can go back to spending that much money. Like I talked about this on stream, but I spent $6,700 on weed last year.
Holy shit.
That's insane, right?
That is.
It was my number one bill for all 12 months.
Jesus.
It was way too much money. Way too much money. So now how much is a gram? Well, see how you perk. This would be like, let me just show you real quick. I happen to have it handy. This is a gram.
Yeah, there you go.
That is a gram of concentrate, right?
Is that $30?
That cost me $45, and that's a good deal. That's a good deal. If you get hacks or something like that, and like the really expensive stuff, it can go up towards like $70 for that. So I was buying 3 of those a week.
Jesus.
I was going through 3 of those a week. So it feels nice to not be in the fog of weed.
Yeah, I used to smoke a lot of pot till I was probably 28 or so, 27, 28. I was dating this girl that I really liked, and I found that whenever I would smoke weed around her, which was like she smoked pot all the time, so whenever I would smoke weed, it would make me all self-conscious, and I would get all weird. Because I would go from like where I'm normally casually just like, hey, how was your day? Whatever. We're just talking about something I'm interested in. And I'd take a token that I would get immediately self-conscious about everything. And I'd feel really bad if I was like, well, now I'm like thinking too much about all the stuff but I really like you. I want you to think I'm cool, but exactly. And so then I just kind of slowed down, and even still, I'll go through a phase where I'll, smoke a few joints a week or something. But at this point, I got a little bit of one of those little vape. So I'll take a couple puffs maybe a day, but
that's what I like to.
Pretty mild.
I'd like to use this as just a sleep thing. If I can do it as a sleep thing and like a fun thing, when I'm streaming on Beer Car Friday or something like that. Yeah. I'd like to keep it at that. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not, but I'm going to do my damnedest. I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah. And this is the evolution from the sober October. Try exactly. Maybe reel it in just a little.
Yeah, exactly. So drinking and weed, just reeling it in, trying to be a little bit more, trying to act my age a little bit more
conscientious. Perhaps. Yeah. Well, does chat have any questions? You guys got any questions? You got any questions, Lefty? Anything you wanted to cover before we split off here?
Really, we kind of touched on a lot of different things there.
Cool, good.
I'm always down if you ever just want to because I enjoy just chit chatting with people that I like. So
sure,
I'm always down. We don't even have to stream it.
For sure, yeah, I'm into that, man. Yeah, I need a friend. You know what I mean? It's tough. Yeah. It's a tough world out there.
It's a tough life out there. Where can people find Lefty? You can find me at twitch.tv/LeftyROFL.
Hell yeah.
And that's pretty much the only place because I'm too toxic for fucking.
Hell yeah.
You used to be able to find me on Twitter, but you'd find me on Twitter just roasting people nonstop.
I had to stop that. Was it all just you were just talking shit to Raph, the long dark guy, and some PUBG nerds or something?
No, I would just find people saying the stupidest shit. My favorite to pick on were like people that claim that they're like patriots of the U.S. You know?
Oh, yeah. Those are good ones. Hogs, we call them.
I'd slide over to their Twitter page and see that they had nothing about serving in the military, which they 100% would have in their bio if they had.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'd be like, hey, what's up with you claiming to love your country, but you haven't served?
Yeah, that's kind of weird behavior, don't you think? Yeah.
And I would just roast them. I would roast them for that reason. Yeah, the thin blue line people,
Yeah.
definitely. Anybody supporting cops, anybody supporting Trump, anything like that. But it was not the best way for me to spend my time.
No, yeah, it can be. It's just unhealthy. And then when you finally pull yourself back out of it, I did that on like during the height of COVID, and you had COVID and you had the election at the same time, and I had
Mm-hmm.
somehow accidentally reactivated my Facebook account, and it
Oh
been the
no.
first time in like 4 years or something. So I was on there, and it was like, well, there's nothing. I mean, we're in lockdown. Well, this is a little after lockdown, but kind of closer to the end of the year, the elections going on, all that stuff. It's just kind of heated. And you would see people who were never political people all of a sudden were like intensely political, and they were very
Mm-hmm.
staunchly on this one side. It's like that. I've known you for 15 years. They've never spoken a word about politics.
Yeah.
You like getting stoned and watching like syncing up the Wizard of Oz with the Dark Side of the Moon. That's your thing. I don't.
Right.
What are you talking about? You don't fucking. You're not a political person. And it just got so divisive that I started to talk shit to my own like cousins and stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
I
don't
start
give a fuck. I
reefing on
don't
them.
give a fuck if you're like an 80-year-old lady, dude. If you say some out of pocket shit, I'll call you a cunt.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And
and
then
if anyone's followed me on Twitter, they know that that's true.
dude, let me tell you how rough it was. I had spent like whatever 3 months talking shit to a couple specific family members, and then my dad passed away like 6 months later, and I had to go there to where all those cousins are, and it's like, fuck, now I got to be around you. You talking to them, they're fine. Like they're
Yeah,
fine people, but I just spent all this time talking shit to you. Now we got to kind of like level it out a little bit or whatever. We got to like, well,
uncomfortable.
I don't agree, but we gotta get along while we're here. And it's a different dynamic when you're just like spewing shit at people constantly.
It is. Yeah,
It's different than just like sitting down and in a silly way settling your differences or whatever it is. I don't know. It's a different
yeah,
thing to just like spend 30 minutes sculpting out this like perfectly articulated paragraph expressing your opinion on this thing that they're bitching about or whatever.
yeah, yeah. I feel you. I mean, I took a different route and I just turned my back on them all because it was just easier.
Well,
It was just easier.
that option is still available.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the best option though. If I'm being real, it's the easiest option. I just don't know if it's
Yeah.
the best option.
I don't
It's
have
not
to.
very productive.
It's not like I'm calling them every day and having a chat. It's more just
Yeah,
settle the dust a little so that if we go through this again, your fucking dad dies next time. I got to see your dumbass. At least we can
yeah,
fucking have a beer and not like it won't. It's not like vitriolic or whatever. It's not
yeah.
like
Exactly. There's no
poisonous
hurt feelings from previous
from the
online
dumb
altercations.
shit where we were both drunk at
Yeah,
2 a.m. bitching at each other on Facebook because I'm an idiot.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think Majix had asked a question about your hair. He said,
Are
"Are
you
you?
balding, or
Are
did you
you?"
just decide to shave the head? I am balding, trying to decide, and Lefty looks good. So I am bald. I have a horrendous horseshoe, which you probably wouldn't be able to see it too well because I shaved today. But I used to shave my head with like clippers when I started when I was like 14 or 15. And it was just because I didn't have money for fucking haircuts, and I didn't like my hair growing out to like like my mom would never cut my hair, and I didn't have money for haircuts, so I traded a friend of mine fucking like a carton of cigarettes or something for his clippers, and I just started shaving my head. That was just I would give myself a haircut every month or so. I'd buzz my head, and that was how I gave myself a haircut. And it wasn't until I was like 20, 21 that I was like, I'm gonna let this shit grow out a little bit. And I was like, oh shit, I'm going bald. So I was like, oh well, fuck it. I guess I'm back to shaving the head.
Yeah, you just been that way
But
then
yeah,
since
I
time
was bald
immemorial,
early.
huh?
Yeah, I was bald early, so I've been shaving my head. That's why people will ask me a lot of times, like, do I regret or do I miss having hair? And if I had like a genie in a bottle wish, like whether I could just one have hair or two shave my head one last time and never have to shave it again, I'm going for shave my head one last time. Never have to shave it
Dude,
again.
hair's a fucking nuisance. I can't
Yeah.
stand it. Yeah, yeah. And my
Yeah.
hair's, I've always had, like, I got a lot of hair, and this bitch never listens. It never does anything I want it to do. It never, I can
Yeah.
try and sculpt it and turn it, make it out right. If I got a big wedding going on, you know, okay, I got to go to the wedding. I got to look nice. I'm going to spiff my hair up. I swear to God, it'll look perfect until you step outside and then it flips over that way or it shoots up in the air. It's so fucking obnoxious. I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you. Yeah, it's the easier way to
like,
go.
there's parts of me that, you know, like, sure, every once in a while I get a wild hair up my ass to, you know, wish I had hair. That came to me. Hold on. Does this even... I don't even know if you can even hear that. Did my little applause. I'm definitely down with the bald look.
Yeah, looks great. Yeah, looks great. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's it. If we're
hey Murph, thanks for having me on, buddy. I enjoyed my time. This is way past my bedtime. I slept, just so you know, I slept all afternoon, so I'd be ready for this.
See, to me, because you're the unemployed guy. What do you mean? You got all the time in the world.
It's so bizarre though. I fall asleep so early. I fall asleep at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and then I sleep for like 3-4 hours, and then I'm up for like an hour or two, and then I fall asleep for 2 hours, and I'm up for like half an hour, and I fall asleep for. It's horrible.
God, living the life out here. Jeez,
well, this is not just an unemployed thing, though. I've been doing this for a while. My psychiatrist says that I need to get on the treadmill more often.
Do they even know what they're talking about?
I mean, he is a medical doctor. I don't know. He seems to know.
Phooey.
He seems to know shit. Yeah. I mean, look, you know, he told me to chill out on weed, and I was like, "You're not even a doctor." Oh, wait, you are a doctor.
Well, thanks again, man, Murph, for doing this.
Murph,
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me on. It means I'm honored that I was considered to be interesting enough to be on here and be talked to. So thank you.
No problem, man. It was it made sense to me. And then even when you came in, when I was talking to Forge, you were like, I can put the suit on right now. I had half a mind. I was like, maybe we could do this. So it was an obvious choice to have you here. So thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Back. Yeah, no worries at all, man. Do I just need to end the call, or how do we do this?
I can end the call. I mean, you could say goodbye to everybody.
Hold on. Let me say goodbye to chat. Yeah. Chit chat. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being you. Sorry I wasn't reading very well. I only caught a couple of things in there.
It's a little tough.
Oh, wait, hold on. What's one piece of advice that you would tell your younger self? Don't fucking work for a job that you hate.
There you go.
Because it pays money. Do not do that. Do not trade your life to make decent money. Go fucking make shitty money and do something you love.
Be happy.
That would be my advice if I could tell myself. I wouldn't have listened. I'd be like, shut up, old dude. You don't know shit. I'm about to get that money.
All right. Well, I think that's that, man.
All right, y'all. Well, I'll if you guys are going back into Geo, I'll probably pop back into chat, and I'm gonna make a fucking snack.
Do it. Get high
out in the living room. Yeah, I'm gonna get high. I'm gonna go get high, make a snack, and go watch you guys play ChatGuessr out in the living room.
Cool, man. Well, it was good talking to you. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks again, Murph.
No problem. We'll see you soon, man.
Take care, buddy.
Take care. Lefty, ladies and gentlemen. Lefty. That was awesome. That was great. I'm glad that went well. Is this shit all fucked up? I don't know.